And a pleasant good afternoon, everyone. Jeff Phoebus, Sports Information Director at Calvin University, getting ready to bring you game number one of today's twin bill between the Britons of Albion and the Knights of Calvin. I'll be bringing you game number one. I think our Director of Athletics, Dr. Jim Timmer, will be by to provide some analysis here in game one. And then game two, I believe we're going to have Seth Buitt on the call. So we are transitioning from broadcaster to broadcaster as we are at the semester's end. For the most part throughout the MIAA, are getting close to the end of the semester, so we do have final student exams and classes and all those things that come at the end of an academic year. So we do the very best to go station to station ourselves. They like to say station to station on the base paths in baseball or softball, and could say that we are going station to station in support staff personnel here with spring sports at the late portion of it as we get things done. And it's a busy time. Of course, we have the baseball doubleheader here today. Tomorrow, weather permitting, we're supposed to have a softball doubleheader at home against St. Mary's. Also, regular season finale for the men's lacrosse team. They'll host Lake Forest College in a non-conference game. And then next Wednesday, the Calvin men's lacrosse team will be in the MIAA tournament semis. That'll be next Wednesday. Looks like they'll be going to Albion next Wednesday night, but that will all be determined by Saturday conference games. The Calvin men's lacrosse team already has concluded conference play and is in the league tournament. Just a matter of who they play and where. But that's lacrosse. So let's talk a little baseball here. Yesterday, these two teams played at Albion. Calvin picked up a 4-3 win in a game played at the Albion Baseball Park. Winning pitcher was Nolan Coyle. Ian Doyle came on in the ninth inning to get the save. And just looking at the box score here as far as pitching totals, Coyle went 7 innings, 6 hits, gave up 3 runs, 2 of which were earned, struck out 6, walked 1. Matt Reynolds, if you're doing professional baseball statistics, would have been credited with a hold. Ian Doyle, the senior, came on and got a second save of the year. Coyle moved to 4-2 in the year. For Albion, the starting pitcher, let's see there, if I can pull up the old Albion roster. Was Cole Giesecke. There, Cole Giesecke. I just wanted to make sure I said Cole's name correctly, and I have my pronunciation guide. He went the first 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, 4 runs, 4 of which were earned, struck out 5, and walked 3. And then coming on in relief was Rather, and he went the final 3 innings. As far as hitting is concerned, Josh Winkle for Calvin had a double, he had a couple of hits, also 2 hits for freshman Aiden Jaworski, and that was kind of the tail. Jaworski also had a double. As far as the line totals there, 2 runs for Albion in the first, and Kelvin had a 3 spot in the top of the second to take that 3-2 lead. Albion tied it with a run in the bottom of the second, and then the Knights got the go-ahead run in the top of the sixth and held on for the win. So it was 4 runs, 6 hits, 1 error for Kelvin, 3 runs, 7 hits, and no errors for Albion. So that is the way game number 1 of this 3-game set went. And we are getting ready for game number 2. Albion coached by Scott Carden in his 21st year at the helm of the Britons, and the Knights are coached by Kevin Van Dyne, who's been at the helm of the Calvin ship, well, since the 2019 season, but was on board here in the athletic department back in the early fall of 2018. And he is a baseball alumnus, a 2-time All-American, tremendous second baseman, so he knows a thing or two about Calvin baseball. Overall records right now, Calvin trying to get back to the 500 mark. They're at 16-18, 7-9 in the league. Still mathematically in contention for a league tournament spot, but slim hopes at this point, as kind of a clear 4-team race has split away. Hope at 12-3, leading the league. Kalamazoo 11-4, Adrian and Elma both at 10-4 as we go down the stretch. Albion is 6-10 in the league and 14-19 overall. All right, we'll turn it over to Mike Gibbons, who's handling the public address duties right now.
Leading off in center field, number 7, Evan Schuster. Batting second, the shortstop, number 8, Riker Maisie. Batting third, the third baseman, number 2, Mark Loro. Batting fourth, in right field, number 23, Chris Stojanovsky. Batting fifth, the second base, number 12, Braden Emery. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, number 34, Logan Farmer. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 10, Matt McGann. Batting eighth, in left field, number 33, Jack Leseski. Batting ninth, the first baseman, number 32, Garrett Draper. And the starting pitcher for the Britons, number 38, Scotty Clipper. Now let's meet the starters for the Knights. Leading off, the shortstop, number 38, Ryan Brown. Batting second at third base, number 18, Patrick Gillen. Batting third in right field, number 2, Nate Mason. Batting fourth at first base, number 20, Hayden Penn. Batting fifth in center field, number 32, Josh Winkle. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, number 24, Isaac Upka. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 25, Noah Etnier. Batting eighth, in left field, number 45, Will Mueller. Batting ninth, the second baseman, number 44, Aiden Jarowski. And the starting pitcher for game 1 for the Knights, number 35, Evan Steinbacher. At this time, we ask that you please rise, gentlemen, remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem.
All right, I had to turn on my microphone there. We are ready to go, and you heard the starting lineups. Evan Steinbacher, the starting pitcher for Calvin in this one, and looking forward to having a couple of Steinbachers on campus next year. I can say this because his brother is officially a deposited incoming freshman for next year. Braden Steinbacher will be coming in to be a student athlete, playing on the football team. They are out of Sparta High School, and older brother Evan has had a pretty good year for Calvin this year. Been one of Calvin's top 2 pitchers. Just digging up the numbers here on Evan. 4-3 in the year, 4.50 earned run average, 42 innings pitched. That's second on the team. And innings logged, only surpassed by Nolan Coyle, got the win yesterday. Went to 7 innings, so Steinbacher actually has a chance to move past Coyle with a good outing today as far as total innings pitched. But he's been real solid for the Knights. He's been very happy with the way he has pitched as he has stepped into this Calvin pitching staff. He'll be pitching to Noah Etnier. Got Ryan Brown at shortstop. I think it's Aiden Jaworski at second. Caden Penn at first. Patrick Gillen at third. Had a chance to visit with Patrick's father. The family has come up from Florida for this long weekend. They were at Albion yesterday and at Calvin today for the 2 games. So great to have them up there, and he had real kind words for us. So really appreciate that. Got Josh Winkle out in center. I think Nate Mason in right, and Isaac Hupka, I believe, is out in left. That's the defensive lineup for Calvin. Albion in the all gold uniforms. And Schuster will lead it off. Evan Schuster, sophomore out of Auburn Hills, Avondale High School. Right over near where the old Palace of Auburn Hills used to be, where the Pistons used to play their ball. Of course, that facility is no longer. Wasn't really that old. They shut it down about 4 years ago, and of course the Pistons are now downtown playing at Little Caesars. 2 strikes here on Schuster. First pitch was a called strike. That one was fouled away. Right now, weather is pretty pleasant. Breaking ball just missed outside. There is some rain potentially in the forecast late in the day. But right now, temps are probably about 60 degrees and partly sunny. Pitch down low, 2-2. There's a hard fly ball out toward left. Hupka going back, and underneath it, and makes the catch. One away.
Number 8, Riker Maisie.
So Riker Maisie steps to the plate. Junior out of Grosse Pointe Farms, Michigan. Grosse Pointe South High School graduate. It's actually Will Mueller out in left field. Hupka is the DH. So Mueller made that play. First pitch, up high ball. I can give you the Calvin lineup here in a bit. Swinging a foul back to the screen. For Albion, they got Schuster, Maisie, Laro, Stoyanovas, Emery, Farmer, McGann, Leszewski, and Draper. Here is a shot toward left field, coming hard. Mueller, and another fine catch. And another out for the Knights. That ball was tagged, but Mueller read it well. So Will Mueller, utility man, he's played some infield for Calvin, DH'd a little bit, and out in left field today. So it brings up Lauro to the plate. Left-handed hitter takes a ball in the dirt. I think I'm going to open up the old window here. And here's a shot towards second. Jaworski has it. Guns to first in time for the out. 3 up, 3 down. For the Brits, they're in the first. We'll head to the bottom of 1, 0-0 is our score. So we'll give you the lineup for Kelvin. Ryan Brown, the shortstop, leads off. Patrick Gillen, the third baseman, batting second. Nate Mason, the right fielder, batting third. Caden Penn is the cleanup man. He's at first. Josh Winkle, the freshman out of Grand Rapids Christian, batting fifth, playing center. Another GR Christian grad, Isaac Hupka, is batting sixth, and he is the DH. Batting seventh is the catcher, Noah Etnier. Will Mueller batting eighth, and playing left field, Aiden Jaworski batting ninth, playing second, and I mentioned Steinbacher is on the hill for the Knights. Pitching for the Britons here is Scotty Clippert. He's a left-hander, a senior out of Troy, Michigan, Birmingham Seaholm high school graduate, and the defensive alignment for Albion. You got Schuster out in center, Maisie at shortstop, Lauro at third, Stoyanovsky, let's see if I can say that correctly. Stoyanovsky, there we go. Stoyanovsky is in right field. Emery is at second base. Farmer's the DH. McGann is the catcher. Leszewski is the left fielder. Draper is the first baseman. And, of course, as I mentioned, Clippert is the pitcher. Lefty against lefty here as Ryan Brown steps to the plate. Bottom of the first inning here. First pitch down in the dirt, a ball. Kelvin has these games today. They were scheduled to play Aquinas next Tuesday. I've been hearing reports that that may get changed, so we'll try to get you info on that one when we can. There may be a different opponent early in the week, or maybe no opponent next week. It's the rumble I've heard. And then, of course, they have a 3-game series next week with Hope, the rival. Game on Thursday, single game at Hope on, well, next Thursday, and then a doubleheader a week from today right here at Kelvin. The pitch, breaking ball, chopped toward third. Charging is the third baseman, has it on a hop. Long throw to first, and got him by a step. Good play by the third baseman, Laurel. Brings up a hot-hitting Patrick Gillen. Young man who on Monday night received the co-record breaking award at the C Club Awards. Takes a first pitch for a strike, set records for runs batted in. I think it was home runs in a season. I know runs batted in last year he set the record. I think he shared that C Club Award, which is Kelvin's version of the academies for Kelvin athletes. That was a nice event Monday night. He shared that event, I believe, with David Bajwa, the Kelvin men's swimming and diving team, who set a ton of records this past year. Here's a shot. Will it stay fair? It is dropping, and it is fair, just inside the chalk, maybe an inch or two inside the chalk. Up against the fence, and a stand-up double for Mr. Patrick Gillen.
Now batting number 2, Nate Mason.
Brings up Nate Mason to the plate. Senior right fielder. Out of Portage Northern, the former Husky. Lefty, the pitch. Fastball at the letters, a strike. Kind of tied him up right in the inside part. Decided not to pull the trigger. Mason is crowding the plate a little bit, stands back in the box. Runner out at second is Gillen with one away. Second baseman trying to hold him on a bit. Breaking ball in there for a strike, a good one by Clippert. Count runs 0-2. Hey, you want to send a shout out to the fine sports information director at Albion, Marissa Smego. I know she wears a lot of hats over there and really hustles hard. We appreciate her work. Oh, strike 3, a good breaking ball, and Mason was fooled, and he knew it. So if you're out at Albion, say thank you to your sports information director, because there's a lot of work that goes on over there. The NFL draft was last night. She's a big Cleveland Browns fan. I'm not even sure who the Browns took. I was busy taking care of some other stuff. I saw the first 5 or 6 picks. Of course, watched who the Lions picked, so to check up on what the Browns did, or if they had a first-round pick. I should know, but I don't. Off the top of my head, first pitch was a ball. A lot of NFL banter this morning in the Calvin Athletic Department. We've got the whole NFC North represented. Calvin softball coach Becky Hilgert out of Minnesota, big Viking fan. There's a pitch in there for a strike. Very happy about their draft, getting their quarterback and J.J. McCarthy and a good linebacker late in the first out of Alabama. And then, of course, the Bears had 2 first-round picks. They had swing and a foul. Caleb Williams was the top pick of the draft, the former Heisman Trophy winner out of USC. And then I think they got Roman Adunze, the fantastic wide receiver out of Washington. So a couple of good picks there. And then, of course, we've got some Packer fans with John Ross, our tennis coach, and Nicole Kramer, our distance/head cross-country coach. So that pitch is in the dirt, 2-2. They took an offensive lineman late in the first round last night. And, of course, the Lions took a DB out of Alabama. So a lot of Alabama choices last night. Imagine that. It's a pop-up, and it should be playable. I think it's going to be foul territory. And it is grabbed by the Britons. So the Knights are retired. They do get 1 hit, but they strand the runner. And at the end of 1, Albion nothing and Calvin nothing. All right, back here for the second, and as I kind of suspected, because I had it on in the background, the Browns did not have a first-round pick last night, but they have a pick in the second round, third round, fifth round, sixth round, and 2 in the 7th coming up. All right, second inning here. Opener and a foul. Ooh, and that was wasn't Scott Carden in the third base box. That's one of the other assistants who tried to snare that one. A little self-defense. Pitch misses, a ball. Yeah, maybe it was Scott Carden in that. I don't think that is, though. I've known Scott long enough, and that is a different assistant coach that is in the third base box. Coach Carden, of course, is the head coach. There's a fly ball hitting a medium depth right field. Mason drifting underneath it. Now coming hard and makes a basket catch. Not sure if the wind pushed that one down or if he just misjudged it, but he had to make the old Willie Mays catch there at the end and does come up with the out. So it brings up Emery to the plate. That last batter was Stoyanovsky. Just flew out to right. Pitch by Steinbacher is going to go high. I think we got Dr. Timmer coming our way. So I'm just going to open up, well, he can turn on his microphone. I think that was a called strike. Yep, it was. So 1-1. Said he went on that one. The pitch by Steinbacher in the dirt, a ball, 2-1. Little bit of wind out there, and that last fly ball may have played a, you just have to turn on your microphone there. There's a shot out in center field. Pretty well hit, but back is Winkle, and he makes the grab. And Jim, looks like old Josh Winkle has taken over the reins there at center field. Of course, he comes from good Kelvin bloodlines. His father, Mike, was a pretty good basketball player. In fact, I see Mike walking right below me there in the early 80s for the Knights.
Yeah, backcourt with Michael Kennedy. Jerry Massenbrook was their 3. Paul Tenbrink
was the big man.
Bruce
Capel. Yeah.
That was that era. Very exciting team. Michael Winkle was a mid-range jump guy.
Well, good at rebounding too. Yeah, for maybe a little bit of an undersized small forward or third guard or whatever. Just a real hustler. That's what I remember as a kid watching him play.
Beautiful day.
It is. It is. Yeah, just a little bit of a breeze. It played a little bit.
It's gonna affect the game a little bit. Blowing kind of crossways, a different wind, right? It's coming in from right across to left.
Well, and there's one out to right field. So let's see what Mason does. He's underneath it. And he makes a grab. So 3 up, 3 down. He had to make the Willie Mays shoestring catch a moment ago because of that wind. Yeah. And that one was a little bit more true to form, if you will. But, yeah, in the spring, especially here in Michigan, you just have to be prepared to keep your eye on the ball the entire time when it's out there. So, yeah, we were just talking a little bit about C Club Awards this past Monday night. Patrick Gillen was up at the plate, and he was the co-recipient of the record-breaking award for a male athlete along with David Bajwa, and I know you put a lot of work into that, Jim, so it's always a great event, and the athletes, I know, surely appreciate it. So I'm sure you love doing it, but you're glad to have it behind you at this point of the year.
It is. It's always one of those things where you love it, the students enjoy it. It's great to see so many student athletes will talk about being all in the same room. We're so all over the place during the year to everybody get in the room together, and that was great. Even women's golf got in from their jamboree, and Patrick Gillen could have won a number of awards.
Yeah.
He's had such a outstanding start to his career. We'll see if he can get the Knights off to a start here. And it's interesting. This series is started off yesterday because of Albion's commencement on Saturday. So a day ahead, and Coyle and Reynolds and finally Doyle
got the save last night.
Really nice. And so this is that swing game, right?
Yep.
If you can get 2, you feel like you're playing with house money. You've won the series. And so we'll see how the Knights can do today.
Well, you got Josh Winkle at the plate, who was a starter on last year's state championship Grand Rapids Christian team. One of 2 Eagles in today's starting lineup. From that team, at least, Isaac Hupka in as the DH today. First pitch down low, a ball. I was just talking about Steinbacher on the hill. He is challenging Coyle for the lead in innings pitched on the season right now. Coyle ahead because of yesterday at 48 1/3, but Steinbacher has gone more than 42 innings so far this year, and really has been a solid pitcher in the rotation in his first year in that role.
Sure, those 2 established. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, and one of those high choppers, and as a shortstop, you can probably tell us that is not the easiest play to make, is it?
No, because you see that runner gaining ground on you. You got to keep your eye on the ball. Only a 2-man umpire crew today. I'm interested to see what happened there. If we have an umpire this year, went to 3 umpires in the league, and we only have 2 today. That really only affects that balk call with a left-handed pitcher, which Albion has here.
First pitch is a strike to Hupka, right-handed hitter, and Clement, the lefty, has been pretty efficient for the Brits. He's throwing strikes. He is maybe nibbled a little bit in the strike zone, but for the most part, he is putting it in there. And again, he's ahead in the count at 0-2.
Yeah, we don't have the pitch clock. We have them up. They'll be in play next year. But
Yep.
I think everybody adjusting to that. Kids are, both pitchers working quickly and trying to find that zone, jumping out ahead. Always that first pitch strike is.
Well, that's going to be, I thought maybe get through, but kind of hung up there in the shortstop for the Britons. Maisie snares that one for out number 2. They'll bring up Etnier.
If you followed him on NCAA baseball, it's really interesting, right? Those midweek games get some football scores, but
yeah,
generally around the weekends, it's going to be
got more of the lead dog pitchers, right?
Yep. And it depends based on academic schedule and rain. Sometimes you do get your number 1 starter out on a Tuesday, but generally your top 3 starters are for the weekend. Now the league's looking at that. That midweek doubleheader was an attempt to not start the league so early.
Well, again, it's Clement, and he's kind of mixing speeds right now and getting ahead in the count. Just 1 hit on the afternoon so far. And there's a pop-up. I think that one's going to get out of play.
That wind might push it back. No, not enough. If you've been out to the ballpark, it's now fenced in all the way around.
It is. Hey, you got your nice bullpens in the corners.
Yep. And switched dugouts this year.
Pitch down in the dirt.
The Knights have 2 today, and then they play Tuesday against Aquinas, and then finish up with the rivalry games with Hope.
All right. So that Aquinas game, I've been hearing rumblings there might be a change in opponent, but it sounds like that's still on as of right now.
Yep.
Okay. So a called strike 3 there on Hupka. Good breaking ball to get strike 3, and the Knights are retired 1-2-3. Yeah, the one thing I was going to say, Jim, I was sitting next to Calvin hockey coach Mike Petrusma on Monday night. Probably going to need a bigger platform for the C Club Awards for especially that end of the year. Now that we got men's volleyball, football, we have 60-ish guys this year, and it's going to be over 100 next year, and you start adding acrobatics and tumbling. So, just the whole fact that the Calvin Athletics family has really grown. I mean, obviously we see it day to day with new coaches or more coaches and that type of thing, but just overall student athletes in general, there's a whole lot more.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, as I said to a group of donors that night who were at the C Club Awards, we think, we want to expand the Calvin athletic experience to as many people as possible.
Yep.
And I think by adding football and acro and volleyball and then little expanded rosters, we're going to have a big group of track recruits coming in next year. And
Matt McGann.
Go ahead.
Top of the order here, or no, we're not? We're 7, 8, 9.
We are at 7, 8, 9. Matt McGann, the catcher, is at the plate, right-handed hitter, and right now Steinbacher is been pretty efficient. A few more fly balls than ground balls so far. Young man out of Sparta, and there's another one of those high drifting pop-ups, shallow right, charging hard Mason underneath it, and he's got it.
Steinbacher comes right over the top.
Yeah.
And about 6'2", he's coming at a really interesting angle, and I don't know if that leads to more fly balls or not.
Well, different sight lines as a batter when you get that different delivery. You can hide the ball a little differently, and how you pick it up. Maybe the second time through the order you start getting a little bit more of a feel for it, but that first time up is definitely got to be an adjustment for our batter. Well, there's a shot out in the right center field, and that will drop for the first hit of the game for the Brits.
Well, we had a no-hitter in softball yesterday until the 7th.
Well, yeah, we had a perfect game going on into the 7th, and then it got a little interesting.
Yeah.
Bases loaded 2-1, and then they end up getting the final out on a little number to first, where I think Emily Gist was able to get there and then get back to the bag just in time to end the game.
A little tougher play than it looked, a little squibber.
Yeah, right.
The Knights will play a little double play depth here and see if Albion tries to get anything going with a 1 out. A lot of times there's good double play ball.
Well, bobbled, throw to second. Did they get him?
Yes,
they did. So the fielder's choice. Good job by Brown to stick with it.
Tougher ball.
Yep.
That ball right at you. I think as a former shortstop, you like that being a step, that low runner, but you'd like to have the double play there, but I'm glad we got one. And now with 2 outs, you'll see if with the leadoff hitter up, Jeff, maybe you run this number 9 hitter.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
If he gets it, great. If not, we start the next inning with a leadoff hitter. So be aware of that if you're the Knights.
Well, we got the young freshman Etnier behind the plate.
Good block
and
there.
Yeah, speaking of Etnier.
Not much of a lead.
No. Yeah, maybe not much of a threat to steal. Not sure. Can't say I know this Britain team up and down. Garrett Draper over there at first base. Reached on the fielder's choice.
Knights haven't played pretty straight away.
High, lazy fly ball to center. Jogging underneath it is Winkle, still coming, and makes the grab. So a bunch of lazy fly balls do the trick for the Knights here in the top of the 3rd, and they'll come to the plate trying to get on the scoreboard. Well, looking at other sports action today for Calvin, Calvin men's golf is at MIAA Jamboree number 5, and I think we do have a live scoring app on that, so let's see if I can't pull that one up for us. They are down in Ottawa Lake, Michigan. So
first time it's been.
I think Olivet is hosting that, so I'm going to guess that's South Central Michigan.
No, it's Adrian.
Adrian, okay, so southeastern Michigan.
Yep, and so the league changed formats. It's this total 6 rounds, the last 2 on a neutral site. The Knights went down and got a practice round in, so it won't be too unfamiliar. Should be have pretty good weather. Wind, of course, is always a factor on that side of the state. And the Knights trying to get up high in the stands as possible. They start, I think, 18 strokes behind Hope and a few behind Shrine for second. Marzlino and Turcotte, Timmerman.
Yeah, they're just through a couple of holes right now, so very early. In fact, a couple of players have not teed off yet, so everybody is only one player under par, Mark Savanich from Trine, and it's like Matt Turcotte, who you just mentioned, parred his first hole, so real early in the game.
Yep, we got the MIAA track championships next week. Tennis championships will be on campus. As the men got a co-championship, the women finished second, 2 good years, and women's golf finished 3rd. They finished up, so we're starting to wind down here a bit. We can talk about that softball race. It's very interesting.
Oh, very interesting. Pitches in there to Mueller, a strike. You kind of have 5 teams jockeying for 4 places in the MIAA tournament, although Alma losing a couple to Hope yesterday, so they probably got to win out. There's a looping fly ball over to left field. Left fielder on the run and makes the grab.
So it's interesting, Jeff. I was just about to mention they're playing Mueller to left, and as computers and live stats and video and computer software systems, boy, even in a 40-game Division III, the statistics they have on kids and where they're
scouting.
The scouting is so much different than even when I coached, 16, 17 years ago.
Jarowski is at the plate. First pitch down for a ball.
Big hit yesterday.
Yeah, young man out of Zeeland. Lives on the same dorm floor, or has this year, as my son. Met his dad on move-in day.
Probably earned his way out there with his glove, and now is just
starting to hit a little bit.
Starting to hit a little bit, right?
Right-handed stick out of Zeeland East High School. Shots it. Shoots it out in the right center field, or right field, through the right side, and gets himself a 1-out hit.
So that brings us to the top of the order. That's always interesting. Same situation Albion had, right? You got 1 out. Are you going to do anything, right? You're going to go a little hit and run. The Knights always have to think about if I go hit and run and I leave an open base, you got Gillen coming up next.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you play that? And we'll see what Van Dyne's got on. Brown's a pretty good back control person. Left-handed hitter,
yep,
which allows that hit and run. You have the first baseman pulled over. The huge area to hit between third and short right now with them.
Decent lead for Jaworski.
Yep.
Pitch outside, a ball, 1-1.
Boy, they're playing him to pull, Jeff. Look at that shortstop.
Yeah, I was going to say a huge hole between third and short right now.
Because the third baseman's still pretty much on the line, even with the bag. Pitch
by Clement. Just missed outside, 2-1.
Boy, and Albion didn't like that call.
No, they wanted it. Didn't get it.
2-1, a good hit and run count. Let's see if...
they were playing up the middle, looking for the double play. He's
Good.
going there. Pitch down low in the dirt. Throw down there, and he is in there safely with a stolen base.
And what's the difference? It wasn't a hit and run, right? So
yep.
He didn't protect the hitter. That was a straight steal. And now now the strategy becomes a little different. They're going to still play him to pull a little bit. Good wheels over there. 3-1.
Inside, he walked him.
Boy.
And that is not what you want to do with Patrick Gillen coming to the plate, who doubled just inside the chalk his first time up, going to left field. And, Patrick can go, if you do the analytics on him, I mean, he can pull it, he can hit it to dead center, he can hit it anywhere, really.
Yeah, and when you see where they're playing him now, that means they're going to try to pitch him inside. Because if they're going to pitch him straight away.
Breaking ball just low. Well, yeah, you got to think they're not going to feed him too many fastballs here. But not a lot of bases left open. There's a shot up the middle, and they played him, and it took a funny hop and got under the fielder's glove. Should be a base hit, and it will score a run. That was an interesting one, Jim. Describe that one if you were at shortstop and that came at you.
Yeah, it was interesting because he was pulled so far over that base might have affected it because it went right near that base, and you're trying to predict those hops. And then he was trying to make a decision. Am I going 2? Probably doesn't have a chance at Gillen at 1. We'll see what Mike Gibbons, our official scorekeeper,
He gave him a hit.
He gave him a hit. All right. I probably would. That was going to be a really tough play. But now the Knights have a chance to really tack on.
And another one in the left field.
Yeah.
That was from Mason. That'll be Station to Station baseball.
Yeah. Brown had to hold. He had to hold. That line drive, he had to see if the shortstop could come up with that one.
There we go. Well, looks like I gave ourselves a few many 2 hits, so on the scoreboard there.
Multitasking.
Yeah, there we go. I think we're good with 4 hits. We got the 1 run, and the bases are now juiced with Caden Penn at the plate.
Lefty on lefty.
And there's a shot, and that's going to drop into right center field, and it should get 2. Yeah, Gillen around him third, and he'll be in easily. Oh, they almost had Mason behind the play. He'll get back to second, but 2 runs are in. You've got Brown and Gillen on the RBI single by Caden Penn, and just like that, it's 3-0.
And the anatomy of a big inning, right? I'll tell you, the at-bat by Ryan Brown, right, where you got 1 runner around, we get a stolen base, but he gets that walk. That's the one you're going to go back to and say, how do we give up a crooked number? We gave a crooked number because of that at-bat. And let the big boys swing away, right? So you go single, single, single by 3, 4, 5, but you have to pitch to them because Ryan Brown and second baseman were Grayowski were on.
So Winkle takes a first pitch down low for a ball. There's a breaking ball, skies it in a shallow left field.
They did not call infield fly rule.
No, that was... Oh, he drops it!
Now we're going to get a force at third.
Yeah, throw down to third, and he is... Oh, did he drop it? No, he is out. He just got spiked a little bit.
Yep, and I think...
So that'll just be a fielder's choice, 7-5.
And yeah, I don't think there was any intent there. I think Nate Mason is telling the third baseman, I'm sorry about that.
Well, Mason's a big guy, so, he's trying to slide to get down there, and, just unfortunately caught Laurel, the third baseman. High sky ball, and a little too deep out there for an infield fly. And
and he made a pretty good play, Laurel, the third baseman. He had to pick that one like a first baseman. But that wind played another role.
It did.
2 outs now.
Hubka takes the first pitch in there for a strike. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Calvin. No runs, 1 hit, and no errors for Albion. The Brits in the gold uniforms trimmed in the purple. Calvin in the white uniforms trimmed in maroon this afternoon. Another pitch in there for a strike at the knees. 0-2 with 2 away here. Bottom of 3, opener of 2, first game.
The last 4 or 5 nights jumped out early in the count swinging. Gillen and Penn and Mason, and even Winkle jumped early in the count.
That one down low, a ball, 1-2. 2 runners still aboard here for the Knights. Hubka, the DH. One-two pitch, chops it, fouled on the third base line. We're talking about the NFL draft last night, Jim. We got the whole NFC North represented in the Calvin Athletics department. Coach Hilgert with their Vikings, Coach Odnoff and Souders with the Bears, got Coach Ross and Kramer with the Packers, and of course a lot of us long-suffering Lions fans. There's a little blooper, and it's going to drop it. Everybody's going to be safe, and I'm not sure how that's going to be scored. I would probably think an error, but let's just see how it comes up here on the live stats.
I would think that's got
kind of a muff there at shortstop.
Got to come up with something. Now, the runner did block it a little bit.
Well, they're going to say a single, our official score. So Isaac Hupka.
Oh, and then we're going to have a trip to the mound. I don't see anyone in the bullpen. I know that we had talked about, oh, yeah, we got people down there in the right field bullpen.
Yeah, little more difficult to see who's in the bullpen now that we've got things situated. I mean, definitely good for the athletes. You know, they've got their own designated bullpen area, but in the old days we used to be able to see who was kind of warming up to our right or to our left a little bit more so, but that's okay.
You know, and this is one of those things, Jeff, in a double header, you know, you're playing a kind of supply and demand. You want to get your pitcher, at least your starting pitcher, through as many as you can, because you're staring at 18 innings.
Yeah, that's right.
And you played yesterday, and both of them used their bullpen. I think Doyle's available. I think Reynolds is available again, you know, for this weekend. But Coach Carton just trying to say, look, we just need an out here. We just, anyway, step on a base. Play,
get us out of the jam.
Yeah, play us deep. The Knights, did they hit around? Yeah, this is a ninth batter.
Yeah, Etnier, he pops it up over our heads out of play. Oh, 1 pitch, here it comes, swing and a miss down in the knee area there.
Knights been aggressive. You know, I think the pitcher's been right around the plate, so attacking that.
There's another foul out of play. Bases loaded still. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Calvin. No runs, 1 hit, and no errors for Albion so far. Opener of a doubleheader here at Calvin. The pitch, and that's lifted and toward first base line and drifting out of play onto the batting cage area there. So again, Etnier staying alive, part of a stable of catchers, and he has kind of taken the reins for the most part of this catching duty. Here's a ground ball slowly hit out towards short, bobbles it, long throw to first, and safe at first base. I think that's got to be an error.
Yeah.
Run will come home, will not be a run batted in. Just kind of bobbled that one. First pitch in there for a strike to Mueller.
Yeah, might have got him on the swing there, but either way, he's down 0-1.
Check swing. That one's in the dirt.
Yeah, that's a really tough one, right? There's that 3-umpire crew. There was no swing. You really can't tell from out where he is. It's a tough angle. You've umpired out there.
Yep. Yeah, almost impossible from the middle of the infield to say if you broke the plane with the swing.
Boy, interesting defensive line. They are playing on the right side for him to pull. They're playing shallow in the outfield, and they're playing straight away on the left side. Look at that gap between second base and short.
It's massive.
The analytics must say he does not hit the ball up the middle.
Well, that one goes down low. So Clippard up to 56 pitches now, and we are still in the third. They do have at least one in the pen, Albion, right now. Might be two.
Yeah, they have two out there.
Lefty against lefty. The pitch. Shot in the right field, a base hit. And that will score. One for sure. Throw coming in, cut off, and runners at the corners. 2 runs come in, and the Knights now lead at 6-0.
Boy, they had him played correctly.
So 6 runs and 7 hits. 6 of the 7 hits have come in this half inning. And the Knights have batted around and still going as Jaworski comes up. And well, the Knights have had a couple of games where they have scored a bundle of runs. Hits it back toward Clippard, who gloves it with a backhander, and will just run it over to first and finally flip it in time for the out. So the Knights are retired, but not before heavy damage done. 6 runs on 6 hits. He had 1 error and 2 runners left on base. We head to the top of the 4th, Kelvin 6 and Albion nothing. So due up here for Albion in the 4th, Maisie, Laurel, and Stoyanovsky.
Well, Jeff, it's interesting. You look at the standings, I don't think the Knights are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. A lot of things would have to go well. They'd have to win out probably. Albion is a team that if they can get 2 out of 3, they'll get the tiebreaker on them, and yet hopefully finish ahead of them in the standings. The Knights have Hope left, who's leading the league. But, there's so much to play for. This was a young team. I think 19 freshmen and sophomores. I think you're trying to establish some roles out there. You got freshman catcher, freshman second
just
base.
2 under 500 right now, too, so you're trying to get back up there, you know?
You loved it. Yeah, every season that you can have 20 wins is a 20-win season, right? And so there's a lot to play for, and the kids are battling, and the kids are battling exams, right? Exams start tomorrow for them, and we just shout out to the diligence that those kids do.
Pitch in there for a strike. Well, I think Coach Van Dyne is at 96 career wins, so he's closing in on the century mark as well. So, not sure if his players all know that, but maybe we can make them aware of that if they start getting closer. That pitch outside a ball, but yeah, when you start reaching milestones, those are key. Here's a fly ball, pretty well hit out toward right, but Mason is there and gloves it with 1 hand.
The old Atom ball.
The old Atom ball, Mr. Jim Price, late Jim Price, who passed away this past summer, but a longtime member of the Detroit Tiger Airwaves, and of course, as your father, my father would all point out, a member of that 1968 Detroit Tigers World Series championship team.
Catcher.
Yeah, backup catcher.
To Bill Freehand.
Yeah.
University of Michigan.
University of Michigan grad and the former head baseball coach there, Bill Freehand.
Caught the ball in the
Yeah, to end Game 7 in '68. Yep. Fouled territory. There's some people that argue that Bill Freehand should be in the Hall of Fame, but
we got to get Lou Whitaker in there first.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think Lou will get in there at some point, but when, I don't know exactly. Sometimes time starts making numbers and things like that look a little better.
Well, what do the Knights have to do? Steinbacher, here's the deal. Dan Petrie, I say you got to go out and, get a 0 out here after your team puts 6 runs up. It's not, you at least avoid the big inning and try and do just that. You can't work too fast. And you can't just start laying the ball in there. You just got to pitch.
Yep.
It's too early to start playing the numbers game. But momentum-wise, you'd love to see a quick inning and get those bats back in there.
Ball and 2 strikes, now 2-2. Steinbacher throws that one in the dirt. I think I see the Albion bus here now. So there's a few little travel difficulties to get the Britons here, but they're now here, so that's good. They got their transportation home, let's put it that way.
That's great.
3 balls and 2 strikes on the batter, Loro, the third baseman, left-handed stick. And the pitch on a ground ball in the hole and off the diving glove of Caden Penn and into right field. That'll be a base hit.
Yeah, I'm sure our broadcast couldn't pick that up. We don't have replay. Penn might have been better off coming back to the base and seeing if Adam could have got that. I don't know if either one could have. It was deep in the hole there, so this kind of slows down the running game here just a bit for the Britons.
Yeah, you're probably not going to be looking to steal too much either, down 6 runs, I wouldn't think. But
not a very big lead over there at first.
No.
Oh, and he
throws over to first.
Yeah.
Stoyanovsky is at the plate.
I think he was surprised. What are you throwing over here for? I'm 1 foot off the base.
Yeah. Well, sometimes just to get yourself back into a rhythm, I think, as a pitcher.
Boy, there's a good pitch.
Yeah, right down the gullet for a strike. Good hard fastball.
Mueller deep and left, and by average in center.
Well, and I would say he's shaded more towards center, not down the line. Breaking ball goes high, 1-1.
Gillen playing a little deeper at third and off the line.
The last time I was in this booth, Jim, I had your dad here on Jackie Robinson Day. Told us those great stories about seeing Jackie Robinson play at Wrigley Field when he was like 11, 12 years old. As you were telling me, your grandfather made a point to make sure that his kids all saw some great players, and not just great players, but players that were very notable in the history of the United States, So, that's always kind of a key thing, I think, as a parent.
Trying to put those players in context.
Yeah.
Trying to think of those that I have.
Pitch up high ball. Well, you were telling me on the phone the other night, you were at the Reds-Phillies game back in like 77, 78. And
Tom Seaver and Steve Carlton, 300 winners.
Michael Jack Schmidt there at third base for the Phillies. And
Pete
Rose, Johnny Bench. There's a fly ball out there to center field, and
Adam played perfectly.
Josh Winkle is there. A lot of people believe that Johnny Bench is the greatest catcher ever to play. Of course, it's always subjective, but he's definitely got an argument to be made. I kind of remember Johnny Bench more from the old Baseball Bunch TV series that he hosted.
So Johnny Bench was one of the first catchers who caught one-handed.
That's right.
And put his throwing hand behind his leg to protect it. And
had been splitting his thumb too many times doing the two-handed method, right?
Yeah, and now that is just standard operating procedures now. So he left his mark on baseball in a very interesting way.
Power hitting catcher out of Oklahoma. Binger, Oklahoma, I believe.
It'd be interesting if you'd say generationally, who should I take my kids and grandkids to see? Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout might be one of those. Justin Verlander might be one of those.
There's a fly ball. It's going to drop into center field for a base hit. Yeah, well, I made sure that my boys both saw Miguel Cabrera play
Yeah.
a couple of times. You know, that was kind of key.
Albert Pujols.
Saw
would be-
Derek Jeter play
Yeah,
once.
Albert Pujols is one of those
Yeah.
generationals. I played against Ken Griffey Jr. when he was 16 and I was 18.
Really?
Down on Ohio Wesleyan's baseball field. He was 1 for 4. He had a double. And he was frustrated because he was 1 for 4. And
I can imagine.
As a shortstop, I told him, hey, hang in there, kid. You're going to be okay. And I think those words of
600 plus home runs later.
I always think those words of encouragement from an unknown shortstop kept him.
Well, he was part of a father-son combo to play together with the Seattle Mariners.
Cincinnati Midland Dow was his amateur baseball team down there from Cincinnati, and they were playing we were the Sullivan Cubs.
All right.
Down there and played in a tournament. And my other famous brush with greatness in the baseball field was I got 0 for 3 against Jimmy Abbott.
Oh, okay. There you go. He was out of the Flint area, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Quarterback, held the state record for a while with one arm for those people who don't.
Super nice guy. I can tell you from firsthand experience. I mean, we had, the former Becky Wyma, now Becky Bagnall, the probably greatest swimmer Kelvin's ever had on the women's side, got the Detroit Athletic Club Female Athlete of the Year award, and the featured speaker that night was Jim Abbott, and he went out of his way to talk to all of us, played catch with Becky's younger sister, who was a softball player. He brought his glove, and partly to pitch. It's a ball partly to demonstrate how he could flip that glove around and still throw it. He had a full tuxedo on and all that. We rode up on the elevator with him. Really nice guy.
Michigan grad.
Yeah. Well, threw a no-hitter in Yankee Stadium
Yeah.
as a member of the
I
Yankees.
think on July 4th.
I believe it. Yeah.
Got it by him there.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, that was either him or David Cohn on the 4th of July. It seems like I don't remember who was who that got the 4th of July no-hitter, but you might be right. It might have been Abbott.
So that's a big out right here. See if they can keep the 0 on the scoreboard. 2 outs. All they need is to step on a base.
Ooh, just down low. He walked him, so the bases are full. And up 6 runs. You don't want to be in a situation where one swing of the bat could make it a 2-run game as McGann, the catcher, comes to the plate.
Defensively, the Knights are going to play deep in the infield. They can play it off their chest, we call it, right? And throw to the shortest base. Want to stay aggressive. Want to try to jump out ahead here. He's been effective. He gets behind. There we
Breaking
go.
ball in there for a strike. Yeah, nice to get that first pitch breaking ball in there,
Yeah, that
getting ahead in the count.
Yeah, that was a good call by whoever's calling because he was sitting dead red fastball after walking someone, and to be able to throw a breaking pitch in there for a strike really is pitching backwards, as I like to call it.
Another breaking ball. That one's outside, 1-1.
You can take their heart out a little bit here by getting out of this inning.
Yeah, if you're the Brits, you can get some new life with a hit, or you can get a little down or uplifted if you're Kelvin, if you can get out of this jam without any damage being done. That one was high, so 2-1. And time being called, we'll have first-year pitching coach Andy Van Hecken out to the mound, and he knows a thing or two about baseball. He had a cup of coffee in the major leagues with the Detroit Tigers and pitched professionally overseas for a number of years, out of the Holland area originally.
And he's not talking any scouting report. He's just talking rhythm. He's even if he's just giving a pitcher a little bit of break, might be rushing it a little bit.
Yep.
And when you talk about what's rushing it, right, the body gets ahead of the arm.
Yep.
You're so anxious to get out of there, and the arm drags a little bit, and you lose a little bit of control. So just remind him to stay, we talk about staying patient, and that's really allowing the coordination of the body and the arm to work together. It's a control and a velocity thing. And I think a lot of times a pitching coach who have seen a ton of his pitches will be the one that can point that out. And here we go, 2-1.
He's going to have to come in here.
Yep. Defense has to be ready.
Pitch, and just a bit high on the fastball. He was not biting.
Nope, he's missed there twice.
Well, McGann is probably all of 5'7", 5'8", so it does not have a big strike zone. There's a fastball, well hit, but two hopper right at the shortstop, and a nice play by Brown. The flip to Jaworski for the out, and the Knights do indeed get out of that jam without any damage being done. So we will head to the bottom of 4. Calvin leads at 6-0.
Jeff, as you're getting the scoreboard all set up there, as we sit here and look to our west, we see a structure going up, don't we?
We do. I had a good look at it this morning.
Wow. And if you look at it, that you can see the floor of the press box now.
Yep.
For those of you not familiar at Calvin campus, we're looking west up the hill in the soccer stadium with what will be the roof of the soccer stadium, which will cover about 2/3 of the permanent seating is going up. And of course, in that, you can see the press box where Jeff and his crew will spend a lot of time. And on cold nights, you're going to catch Jim Timmer up there as well. But very impressive. Big crane out there with the American flag, and we've had good weather and lots of exciting things.
Well, the concrete started coming in a few weeks back, and then the steel right after that. And as you said, now the structure's really starting to take shape.
I'll be honest with you, I sat in those design meetings for almost 18 months, knowing what it looks like, but didn't really figure that it's going to be that high. It's going to be some great vantage points. It's going to be a great soccer-only venue, and it's a stadium that is worthy of the programs we have in it. But I hope they each kind of build off each other, and
yep.
I think you'll see.
I think they will.
And I think you'll see some interest in some high school quarterfinal games, and so, boy, really exciting time at Calvin, and we can't wait to open that up sometime in the fall. And of course, just to the west of or north of that is the football building, which is about 2 months ahead.
Yeah, they should be ready to move in on time when they report for camp next year.
August 13th.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, first pitch, and Brown gets the old HBP. So he's aboard. Yeah, I was just doing an interview the other day, well, yesterday, in fact, talking about Calvin football, and they're on the clock. Yeah. September 7, Oberlin at Grand Rapids Christian, and I think the plan is to get ticket information out for all of you interested in either season ticket or individual game tickets by July 1. Oh, they're going to throw it to first. He's back.
He was leaning.
Yeah, got the old, for those of you who are longtime Calvin baseball fans, the Brian Gansevoort left-handed move. He was not a guy that was going to overpower you with speed, Brian Gansevoort. Here's a little soft fly ball, shallow center field. Center fielder coming hard, and he'll make the grab. You know, Gansevoort, he actually was your pitching coach there for a bit. A lot of off-speed stuff, through strikes, but, boy, he could put you on first and pick you off just like that. Probably one of the best moves I've ever seen at the collegiate level.
It really controlled the running game, which left a lot of double plays and force plays intact. It's a weapon if you can have it, particularly in a two-man crew, right?
Yeah.
As we have today.
Well, he was a good athlete. I played in a slow pitch softball tournament once with Gansevoort as a sub, and I was the sub. And he played shortstop as a left-hander, and he was really good, flipping it around and gunning it to first. So,
very intellectual pitcher.
He was. Ground ball. It's going to get through the left side and into left field for a base hit. Haven't had a lot of rain here.
No.
And so the ground is pretty hard. So anything hit hard on the ground, it's got a good chance to scoot through.
Gansevoort was my pitching coach, and one of the philosophies he brought with it was which I thought was innovative at the time, and he wanted our pitchers to pitch to all four quadrants. He did not, the whole keep everything low. He thought you should change the eye level, and you see some of that. And one of the arguments I got into, but Brian, if I change the eye level and I'm throwing not hard enough, he goes, it doesn't matter. You got to change the eye level by throwing high strikes as well as low strikes. Now, you got to do that strategically. Let's see if Penn can take advantage of a high strike, and oh boy.
Chops it foul. with 2 runners aboard, 1 out, count 1-1 on Caden Penn, the 5th-year senior out of, I believe that is Macomb Lutheran High School. That is his high school.
Boy, his parents have been faithful fans.
Yeah, they have.
Having
Carter Penn, his younger brother on the team. Fouled out of play.
You know, Carden feels like that's manager Carden for the if he can get another inning or two here, you know, even with a 6-0 lead, he saves his bullpen.
Ground ball to second, could be 2. Flip to second for 1. Relay to first and in time for the double play. 4-6-3.
It's a good inning for their pitcher to keep their bullpen intact and the game close.
All right, Steinbacher back out on the hill. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error for Albion. 6 runs, 8 hits, and no errors for Kelvin. Looking at Steinbacher, his pitch count is at 58. In pretty good shape here. Been following pitch counts a little bit more thoroughly myself recently, as we've got a JV baseball son right now, and they're in the situation where they're playing 4 to 5 games a week. So, you know, the MHSAA here in the state of Michigan, High School Athletic Association, has pitch counts on how many you can throw in a certain number of days before you need X amount of days of rest, or you know, that type of thing.
You know, it's really good. I think with you know, there's an argument to be made, right? Not every pitch is equal, right? And yet I don't think.
Well, there's a lot of debate about that in Major League Baseball with all these injuries about, you know, not all these pitches are equal, and that being part of the cause of some of these injuries.
Right. So I look at, you know, you can throw a hard 85 pitches in a 1-0 game where every pitch is intensely thrown and every, you know, or you can throw 85 pitches in a 10-0 win, and you're a little bit more relaxed, your body's more relaxed, you feel better. You know, and if you're throwing all 100%.
Pitch down low, a ball.
I'm glad we have the science. You know.
Well, you have the science of spin rates and all that type of thing. So then, you know, you do get that that pressure for younger pitchers, you know, to throw harder, to have, you know, a higher spin rate. And the more more reps you get trying to get all of that, the more strain you do put on the arm.
High fly ball.
Yeah, that is a sky-high fly ball. Mason underneath it makes the grab.
And you start talking about how does that affect the game of baseball. You're going to have to need more kids to be able to pitch, because the drop-off sometimes between, you know, the starting pitcher who used to go 100 pitches and the next pitcher. And so I think, you know, it does a service to make sure you expose more kids to pitching. But you're going to have to want to be out there, and that's the biggest thing about pitching.
Draper at the plate. Yeah, no doubt about it. I think, you know, you need more individuals to pitch, and thus you're seeing 4 to 5 pitchers a game at the professional level and the college level, and even at the younger levels beyond that. You know, you read about the old-time baseball, the late 19th century, early 20th century, where these guys would pitch both ends of a doubleheader and all of that. As a ball goes toward the right field foul line, Mason on his horse in foul territory, and he makes the grab with a slide. Nice play by Nate Mason. I guarantee you Cy Young was not throwing 98 miles per hour in both ends of a doubleheader back in 1903 or whenever it was. And the other thing is, you know, it was the dead ball era. Yeah. Now, you know, you read some of these books, and some of the theories are it wasn't so much how the baseballs were stitched or wound or put together. It was more they just did not replace the baseball, so they got beat up more and became softer as the game went along. Thus, you had the dead ball as the game went along, and you could get away with maybe throwing 80 miles per hour. And, you know, you had the old bottle bats, and players weren't swinging for the fence and all that type of thing. And I think it was Ben Carl Mays and Ben Chapman or Ray Chapman, the player who was beamed by a fastball, and it was a darker ball that had been in the game right around 1919, 1920. And they put in the rule that you had to change the baseballs pretty freshly so that players could see it. And it livened up the baseballs, and the Babe Ruth era was just on its way at that point. All of a sudden, started seeing 50 home runs hit by players in a season from that point on out.
And it's amazing they didn't put, of course, the mass production of plastics and batting helmets would have been an easier solution.
High foul out of play. 3-2 with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning. Kelvin up 6-0, scored all 6 runs in the 3rd. Had 6 hits to score those 6 runs. Also had a help of an error. Here's the pitch by Steinbacher, grounded toward 3rd, and Olay. Tough play there by Gillen. That ball was hard hit on the hard pan infield, and he tried to short hop it, and it just scooted over his glove. I think that will go as a hit. We'll wait for, that'll be a hit as I look at our score there.
Gillen's chance was you either had to stay back or he had to come harder, and I think the ball was hit hard enough. That was just an in-between hop, but 2 outs, see if we can get out of this inning. Good block.
Down in the dirt and a good block. Runner will go on to second. It should be a wild pitch.
Yep. Yeah, you always, now you get a bloop single and you give up a run on that's baseball. And you try to eliminate those. Yep. Those are, they go a little bit undetected in a box score. Like, that's kind of, we put air quotes around a cheap run, but they all count the same.
Fastball high, 2-0.
I tell you, the umpire's been consistent. He has not given that pitch, has he?
No, high strike has not been there. You do have to adjust to the zone, and if it's consistent, can't argue too much about it. That one's in there for a strike, 2-1.
Penn hugging the line over here at first. Now, I don't think they're in a no double situation yet in the 5th, but
ground ball, weakly hit towards short, going to be a tough play, and Brown charges and it gets under his glove. I think that will go as an error. And a run comes home. Should be an unearned run for the Brits.
Number 2, Mark Laurel.
2 outs, nobody on. You get a kind of a hit, a pass ball. There's that cheap run I just referenced. Now, Evan and the Knights have to stop it right here. Right here, stop it, right? And that's sure what the conversation is in the Calvin dugout. God, there it is.
Boy, that one was tight. Just a bit high.
Yeah, it's that consistency.
And a little bit of a Loro, a little bigger hitter here too, but breaking ball hit sharply out toward right field on his horse Mason, and he makes the catch on the run. A nice play.
He made all 3 outs that inning.
He did. It's the hot corner of the outfield, if you will. So 1 run for the Brits. There was the 1 error that led to the run. 1 runner stranded on base. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Kelvin 6 and Albion 1. So new pitcher in for Albion. That'll be number 25, Drew Renner, Jr. out of Brighton, Michigan. Another Drew was pretty famous at Brighton High School. That would be Drew Henson, who is the Gatorade National Football Player of the Year and quite a baseball player himself. Went on to the University of Michigan, quarterback. Split time with Tom Brady, had 1 year as a starter there, and of course then signed with the New York Yankees. Had, I think, a brief cup of coffee with the Yankees, but primarily was stuck in the minors, decided to go the NFL route and played some with the Cowboys, the Lions, and I think one other team. And boy, he was a big name, a big commodity in the state of Michigan in the later 1990s, coming out of Brighton High School. So Josh Winkle, he's talking about Drew Renner out of Brighton, Michigan, and another Drew was out of Brighton in the late 1990s, Drew Henson.
Dallas Cowboy, New York Yankee,
Yeah.
Michigan, kept Tom Brady on the bench. Boy, we could talk stories there.
Gatorade Player of the Year nationally in football, and signed a multi-million-dollar deal with the Yankees thanks to Mr. George Steinbrenner.
They came back after and tried to play.
Yeah, with the Cowboys. Was with the Lions for a bit, maybe one other team, and never really quite settled. I think his issue was he couldn't hit the breaking ball consistently enough at the major league level, and then didn't get enough reps, I think, at quarterback ultimately, both in college and then at the pro ranks to jump back in maybe 3+ years down the line to really get comfortable.
Right.
And so kind of got stuck in the middle and was a professional athlete, but not really of a high notable amount.
Oh.
Here's a chopper toward Renner, gloves it out of the air, underhands to first in time for the out.
Go down our list of the famous baseball-football combinations. His first two, of course, pop to mind.
Well, Deion Sanders would be one. I think Brian Jordan's another one that
Atlanta Braves.
Atlanta Braves, and I'm trying to remember who he was a defensive back for. Pretty good one.
Well, Falcons. He played
the
for
Falcons,
both.
yeah, right. All right. So, yeah, just like Deion.
You're missing the best one.
Yeah,
Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson, of course, yeah. Well, there was only one Bo, that's for sure.
Bo knows.
He was something.
I saw him play in Kansas City. Boy, he had an arm that just teammate of Frank Thomas, who had a Hall of Fame career down in Auburn.
And he was a good football player himself.
Absolutely.
Played at Auburn.
Yeah.
Pitch up high ball. The one athlete that got drafted in all 3 major professional sports, well, not hockey notwithstanding, Dave Winfield, NBA, drafted, New York Yankees, NFL. The University of Minnesota. Ooh, pitch inside. Had over 3,000 hits and could hit for power. Won a couple World Series with the Blue Jays. I don't think he was ever on a World Series winning team with the Yankees. Went to a World Series and then got blamed for the Yankees not winning it by George Steinbrenner, speaking of George.
Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
Dad was a pitcher for the Blue Jays, and he got drafted by the Tigers.
Well, this isn't a football-baseball combo. I was talking about this with somebody the other day. Danny Ainge, Blue Jays and then Boston Celtics. That's a rare one.
Talk about a guy who couldn't hit a breaking ball.
No. Well, then John Havlicek, he was kind of a multi-sport guy, and he might have had a cup of coffee in either the NFL or Major League Baseball, along with, of course, his Hall of Fame NBA career. Check swing, he went too far, and striking out there is Hubka.
Well, and you got John Lynch, the general manager. That story came out this week about he was going to go play baseball, and Bill Walsh had come over to Stanford and said, "Hey, I think you're as good as Ronnie Lott," and he stayed with it. I don't think he was, but
he was a Hall of Famer. He's got himself a gold jacket,
and now he was ready to go play baseball in the minor leagues.
Well, Kyler Murray, another guy who. In the NFL, and he had signed.
Chance to do both.
Yep.
In the age of specialization, that's hard for a lot of our listeners to comprehend.
Yep, I know it. Ball and a strike here, 2 outs. Yeah, well, I can tell you, with my own son, a sophomore in high school, he is doing 3 sports right now in the spring, so there's a lot of demands. Of course, you did 3 sports yourself in high school, and there was a lot of demands back then. And
not near as what it is now.
No. Every morning at school by 6:30, doing one sport or another. And, of course, the primary sport is baseball right now. Might be open gyms. It might be weightlifting. Might be throwing a football.
Keeps them out of trouble.
It does, and they go to bed on time.
Yeah. My old high school football coach and baseball coach, Jeff Penning, was in the office today.
3 balls and a strike. Pitch inside, a walk. So Etnier draws himself a free pass. Well, Coach Pettinga helped build this press box that we're sitting in
Yeah.
here.
Coach Pettinga coached baseball by himself for a good 20 years.
Yeah.
Had some teams and different day and era. Kevin Medine, a product of that era. Myself, a product of that era. Our golf coach, Brian Bolt, played baseball for Coach Pettinga and learned a lot.
Yeah.
Coach Pettinga was an offensive.
Well, he had some daughters that were good athletes
Yep.
themselves, played softball at Calvin.
Yeah.
And were multi-sporters themselves through the high school ranks. And another daughter, Debbie, that played a good tennis player here.
Coaching tennis down at Westminster High School in
Yeah.
St. Louis.
Pitch
Ooh,
in there for a strike.
And there's the high strike and everybody in the dugout.
Yeah,
Calvin
it's like,
Gunn,
where's that been
where's
all
that
game?
Been all game. But he's been consistent.
Yeah.
You know, Mueller with that rip down to knocked a couple runs in. Good to see a senior get an opportunity like that. 2 outs. Maybe we try to get a sneaky run by running him here.
Pitch just missed on the outside part of the plate. So 2-1 on Mueller with 2 outs here. Bottom of the 5th inning. 6-1 Kelvin. Steinbacher has gone the whole way for Kelvin.
There is no comfortable lead in MIAA baseball.
No,
Jeff.
there really isn't. It's been a high-scoring spring, that's for sure. There's a strike on outside part of the plate. Clippert was the starting pitcher for Albion. Renner has come on in relief here. First of 2 games today. The pitch. That's going to be high.
Now the run will be on its way. We'll see
Yep,
if they'll
with
hold
2
him.
outs and 3-2.
I don't think they'll hold him. They'll,
No.
with a left-handed hitter, they should pull him back. If not, it'll be an oversight because he's going to run anyway, but they are holding.
Kind of a soft run down to second base. Doesn't really make a difference. That's ball 4 and 2 runners aboard.
Let's check. I think Alma and Adrian might be. Was that game yesterday a continuation of that suspended game? Was that?
It might have been. I got to be honest.
That was that whole ruling.
There are so many spring sport games going on right now. Yeah, well, I mean, Adrian is leading Hope in the 9th, 11-3 right now in the opener.
Yep, and they had played Alma the night before. I think that was a suspended game.
Yep. And that was a very interesting scenario.
Yeah, probably too long for this game. So Adrian, they needed that one. I think they were a game up behind Hope.
Well, I think that game might have been played on Wednesday. It wasn't yesterday. Pitching the
Okay.
dirt a ball. I'm quick going through the scoreboard over the last few days. You know, Alma played at Comerica Park the other night. I did see that. Beat Bluffton 11-6 in a non-conference game. So let's see. You said it was Adrian baseball against Alma. I'll look that one up here. Pitch in there, yeah. Good strike at the knees.
2 on, 2 out for the Knights. Bottom of the order has done some damage. At least got that 6-run rally started.
Pitch by Renner outside. Might be 3-1.
Glad you're all joining us along Calvin Sports Network. I know those week Friday games getting out of work. We appreciate your patience with us as we try to give you the best broadcast possible. There's a base hit.
Yeah, and over the outstretched glove of the second baseman.
be a
That will
pull.
score.
Ooh,
Well,
that was-
potentially long throw to the plate, and it gets away from the catcher and back to the backstop. And moving on to third base is Mueller, and up on the throw to second is Jaworski. So a big 2-out hit for Jaworski. Let's see if they give a throwing error on that one. Be a hit and an RBI.
And moves 2 runners in scoring position. And I think it was right. I think you had to make a play on it. You didn't have to cut that one off. But I'll tell you a little coaching tip here. The pitcher backing up the home plate play needs to be deeper, right? So he was back there, but the throw got away from the catcher and the backup, which allowed the runners to move. if he was a little bit further back, I don't know if the runners advance. And now Brown with the base empty, they want this guy. They don't want Gillen with the bases loaded.
Yeah, that does go as a hit and then a throwing error. Foul down the third baseline. Let's see. Adrian beat Elma in that one Thursday game, 10-5. They've got a 10-inning game with Elma winning 8-7 in the book. So I don't think that one was ever changed. Let's put it that way. And then there was a foul back to the screen, and then, well, yeah, you're right. Yesterday, Adrian beat Elma 16-13 in a game that had been postponed for March 29.
Yeah,
so,
because that was the game. The 8-7 game was the one that triggered this whole controversy.
All right, so they still have the 8-7 game on the schedule here for Adrian.
And that made the other game a 7-inning game. That was the protest, and I think they went back and played it.
Okay. Interesting.
And then came back, and now they play Hope, and you said they got Hope.
Yeah, they were up in the ninth pretty handily. Swing and a miss, and that will retire the side, but the Knights get another run back on a few hits, and there was one error, a couple of runners stranded. We will head to, let's see, the top of the sixth inning. Calvin leading this one 7-1. Yeah, I'll try to give you a leaderboard here in golf. I'm going to have to refresh this.
Yeah.
It's like Logan DeWitt of Hope is the top golfer so far today, 2 under through 5. Ethan Tiller is the top man for Calvin. He is even through 5. Matt Turcock, 1 over through 4. Eli Timmerman, 2 over through 5. Jackson Glanzer, 2 over through 12. So he must have teed off early. Tim Braun, 3 over through 4. Jack Marzolino, 3 over through 7. And I think that pretty much tells you Calvin's individual. So right now, Hope as a team, 2 under par. Adrian second at 4 over. Calvin tied for third with Trine at 6 over in today's competition so far. And they'll play it again tomorrow. Play it again, Sam. Another 18-hole round, I think, right at that same course, right?
Yep. And that's where the all-league will be determined and all that stuff down there. And I'm sure somebody from the MIW office will be down there. Big inning right here for the Knights. I sound like I'm repetitive, but see if Evan can grab that leadoff hitter and take away a few of their hopes. Like I said before,
77 pitches on the day.
Well, you'd like to get him through the 7th.
Fouled away.
He's kind of switched here,
Going more to the off speed to start out the counts.
Yeah, absolutely. Feels more comfortable that way, and going through the order again. They don't want them sitting on the hard stuff.
Pitch down low, ball.
Control is one thing. Your misses have to be enticing enough.
Yep.
Right? That ball right there was not enticing enough. And here's where I think,
outside, breaking ball, 2-1. So it's been all off-speed stuff here. Just a bit high, and it's been just a bit high all game.
Yeah. I'm not, like we said, consistency is all I think anybody asks for.
Strike on the outside part of the plate, 3-2.
And that's where he wants. The umpire wants a little bit lower. Now, they probably could argue whether it was on the outside or inside. But overall, good job today by the umpiring crew. I don't think they have been the story by any means.
Here's a hard hit ball up the middle and through for a base hit.
We might, I don't know,
Nobody in the pen right now for Calvin. I think they want to get him through 6 for sure.
Yep, I think he's challenged Evan and said, come on, we need to get you through 6 here. And he's up to that challenge. He's, like you said, him and Coyle have kind of established themselves as rotation guys as sophomores and junior year. And good block. Yeah,
pitch down low to Emery, who is 1 for 2 on the afternoon. 1 run, 5 hits, 2 errors for Albion. 7 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error for Kelvin here in game number 1. Of course, we were playing Albion toward the end of the year in baseball. Down low, we will play Albion in the final game of next year's football season,
Absolutely.
November 16th. And it looks like somebody's going to the bullpen to warm up.
Yeah, there's a little shuffling down there.
Pitch up high, and sometimes they say velocity isn't the indicator of fatigue, it's the lack of command. And right now, Steinbacher is starting to lose command of the zone. Strike at the knees.
You know, a ground ball double.
I think Matt Reynolds is in the pen, by the way.
Ground ball double play, and all of a sudden you get a little. You
Be
feel
just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like Harry Carey up here, wishing a double play or a home run.
Ooh.
Ah, boy.
Hit him.
You might see a trip to the mound here to give the bullpen a little bit more time. You might see the catcher go out. Steinbacher looks into the dugout.
Yeah, here comes Van Hecken.
Yeah, there we go.
And I see, I think that's Coach Court or Coach Van Dyne. I'm not sure, but they were signaling toward the bullpen to start.
Heat it up.
Heat it up, yep. Yeah, I think that was Coach Van Dyne.
And Van Hecken will take his sweet time to get to the mound. He is now, everyone knows what's going on. The umpires will allow that to go. They know what's going on. They're recording the trip to the mound, and somebody from Albion's bench will say, come on, let's get this thing going, and the umpire will walk out and break that up.
Yeah, he's writing slowly in his notepad there with the starting lineups and whatnot.
He's probably...
Well, Van Hecken gives him a little pat.
He's going to walk
to
slow.
Steinbacher, and my guess is this is his last batter, if he can't get him out here. Farmer at the plate.
If you're Albion, Jeff, interesting, right? Do you bunt here?
Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I keep trying to impress upon my son to lay down a bunt, and he's just not having it. And I'll tell you, look at how deep Gillen is at third. And, you know, if you're Calvin, so if you're Albion, you need base runners.
Right.
If you're Calvin, you know, you're playing deep defensively. It's probably the last thing you're expecting is a bunt.
Right. And
Steinbacher hasn't been throwing strikes.
Right.
So you're probably thinking take a few pitches. But
struggling his command a bit.
That one's outside, 2-0.
And when you're struggling your command a bit, the strike zone seems to shrink on you. Yep. So things are going to get a little interesting. Penn playing in at first.
There's a strike. 2-1. 7-1 Kelvin here, top of the sixth. This one's scheduled for 9, as is game number 2. Two-one pitch, just a bit outside.
I'm sorry there, Albion fans. That was my maroon and gold eyes. I thought that was a strike. We're trying to stay at least as neutral as we can, as we are both Calvin fans up here, but y'all understand that. Tight call.
3 balls and a strike, the pitch, and that's going to be a base hit in the center field, and that may score a run. Rounding third and heading home, it's number 23, Staniaski, and the Brits have another run back at 7-2.
Boy, I don't miss these times as a manager. You want to give your kid who's done such a wonderful job the last 2. That's going to be it.
Yep. So second trip of the inning. Coach Van Dyne is out, and Mr. Reynolds will come in from the bullpen to try to preserve this Calvin lead. No outs here in the 6th. 2 runners aboard for the Brits. It's a 7-2 Calvin lead, and the Knights are going to try to plug a hole in the proverbial dike there. And
good hand. He has a good outing.
Yeah,
right?
Good outing by Steinbacher. He goes 5 innings. He's still got a couple of runners out there that he'd be responsible for. So his full pitching line not complete here, but let's see. As far as innings pitched on the year, I was just going through that in the pregame.
47 now.
I think that's correct. If
42 innings. He had 44 hits, 28 strikeouts, 26 walks. Here comes Coach Hilgert from our softball program, nationally ranked softball program.
Yeah, ranked 24th in the country. Supposed to host St. Mary's tomorrow on the doubleheader. It'll be senior day, weather permitting.
Yeah, it's strange. We're supposed to get a little rain in tonight. I can feel the temperature dropping a little bit.
You just don't know in Michigan in the spring. You know, they might say rain and you get a clean day, if you will, and then all of a sudden you can get a warm or a cold front come in, and all of a sudden you get a burst of, I mean, I was at a high school baseball game the other night. We got one game in, and all of a sudden we had a hailstorm right on top of us. That came out of nowhere. So it's just kind of the way it is here in Michigan in the spring, and you get Lake Michigan to our west that sometimes affects that weather. So, and in the winter too, for that matter, we get that lake effect snow. You know, only being about 30 miles away from Lake Michigan, where we are here in Grand Rapids. So.
Well, let me give you a little Matt Reynolds update. Matt pitched yesterday. He's got an ERA of 3.15, 2 wins, no losses, 12 appearances, only 1 start, 11 in relief. 20 innings pitched, hit an inning, 19 hits in those 20. 17 strikeouts to 10 base on balls is a pretty good ratio. Allowed 7 earned runs. We'll see if he's kind of filled that role as a middle, not a middle reliever, but a 6th or 7th.
Kind of a swing man.
Yep, and you know, he comes from a little different angle. The Brits saw him yesterday, but only for an inning. We'd like to see a ground ball here. Matt's a junior from Hopkins, Michigan, just down 131 on your way to the Martin Speedway down there.
Yeah, I've been there once for an event. That's an event, let me tell you.
Hopkins got a beautiful new school. I was out there for a high school basketball regional, watching my daughter coach at South Christian.
Yeah, no, that's a very nice facility. I've been there. I've been there for middle school wrestling competition. They've got a really nice wrestling room as well.
Wow, I thought that was
They call that a ball?
They call that a ball. You know, that when we not get out that angle on that outside corner.
That's a strike.
Now he's playing a little deep in right field with the wind kind of there. And
you know, they just would like to get an out here.
Yep, any way you can. A little double play. The shortstop playing up the middle quite a bit.
Throw over to second base, and not a bad move.
Well, he probably gave away the pickoff. It's unusually pulled to the middle, and now we know why. I had a coach once tell me you never throw that pickoff. You fake it, but you never throw it. But every once in a while, boy, a big pickoff helps.
The Reynolds pitch, that's going to be low and away, 2-1.
Not Dan Quisenberry-like, but certainly
the late Dan Quisenberry.
Yeah, Dan Quisenberry and Kent DeColvey from Division III Marietta. Both underarm pitchers.
I think both World Series champion pitchers. I think Quisenberry was on that 85 Royals World Series champs, and of course DeColvey got a bunch of saves in the 79 Pittsburgh Pirates World Series win.
The We Are family.
Yeah.
Willie Stargell, Dave Parker, Manny Sanguillen.
And he had a son, I think it was Chris, that played at Marietta. Played against Calvin in the out of play, sharply hit ball. That was, I think, the 2000 NCAA Regional. We played it in Canton at the, it was kind of a independent professional league baseball stadium, Canton Bulldogs or Buccaneers or Pirates or something. Not very far from the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I got to know him quite well. I coached first base during those years, and he was the first baseman in Marietta.
Yeah, he was good.
We talked a lot about it.
Who was the hard-throwing pitcher from Marietta who got drafted by the Yankees? Matt
DeSalvo.
DeSalvo, yeah, he threw gas.
Yeah. Short.
Might have got up to about AAA.
Yeah, I mean, shorter guy. I mean, short. Those are good teams from Marietta in those days.
Another chopper foul. Coach, legendary Shalley, right?
Don Shalley, first baseman from those early championships. Brian Brewer is now taking over the program, and they have kept that stadium. They turfed the stadium just a while ago.
Terry Mulholland major leaguer, is a alum of Marietta.
Yeah.
I think he's probably contributed a little bit toward that ballpark.
Yeah, in fact, you turn on Mulholland Drive when you turn into the
Yeah.
ballpark.
Another chopper foul.
Boy, Reynolds is pounding that low inside corner, and Big Man is fighting it off. So a lot of pitches and a 2 count.
And another foul out of play. That was the Tekulve submarine style pitch.
Don't see that much that too
No.
often.
Well, we used to do that, back in the days when you'd play wiffle ball in the backyard. Of course, don't see too much of that anymore with kids, but you try to imitate the pitchers or the batters, their batting or pitching styles. And another chopper foul.
Yeah, there's a theory a little bit, though, for relievers is that the arm's more natural movement, right?
Yeah.
It is from underneath, and so you reduce arm injuries. And I think there's elbow you might have in there a little bit more, but
here's the pitch, and a fly ball hit out toward left, going back on it. Underneath it, Mueller, and he fights the sun and the wind and makes the grab. So that's a big out.
Yeah.
The runners will hold.
Now ground ball gets you out of the inning. So I
was starting to get lulled to sleep by those foul balls there.
Yeah, it's the 79 Pirates beat the Orioles, I think, in the
Yeah,
World
I think
Series.
they were they down 3-1 in that series and came back to win the last three?
See, I can remember Scotty McGregor and
Tippy Martinez and
Jim Palmer.
Yeah, Jim Palmer.
But I don't remember the starters for the Pirates those years.
You had Candelaria, the Candyman. Rick Roden was another one. Those are the two that stand out in my mind.
Yeah.
I can remember the hitters more. You had Ed Ott, who kind of split time at catcher with Manny Sanguian. Phil Garner, who managed the Tigers, was at second. Bill Mad Dog Madlock, who also played for the Tigers later, was at third. Stargell at first. Omar Moreno in center. Oh, pitch gets away. I think there was Lee Lacey, who played some in left field. And, of course, Dave Parker, who probably should have been a Hall of Famer, but, had some off-field issues that probably shortened his career a little bit and shortened his numbers up, but he was an amazing talent.
Yeah. Well, the infield will play back here, giving up the run, hopefully try to keep the other run from scoring, trying to keep the ball in the infield. And this is one you hope the pitcher could get a pop-up or a strikeout is what they're hoping here and get to the – you hear Coach Van Dyne saying it's playing to first, going to give up the run here.
Yeah, that one sailed inside. 2-1, no one in the pen right now, so it's up to Reynolds to just kind of slog through this inning and try to get some outs.
He can pitch around him a bit with the base empty. We could get maybe a right-hander.
Fly ball lifted out toward left center field. Going to be a long run, looping, and gets away all the way to the wall. One hopper. That thing just kept carrying, and that will be a 2-base hit. And 2 runs come in for Albion, and just like that, it's a 7-4 game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying before there. And maybe in a closer game, you might have pitched around the left-hander with the base empty to get the right-on-right-hander, particularly with the arm angle that Matt pitches at. But that is water over the dam or under the bridge, and now the Knights have to keep this one a 3-run game. Boy, he's getting a huge lead at second.
Yep, and he'll step off. I think somebody from the dugout or maybe even his shortstop or second baseman just said step off.
Yeah.
Now, you're only allowed to do that once nowadays. And was that the case at the college level? Pitch outside a ball.
I do not believe that's the case.
Major leagues, you can only do it one time.
Yeah, part of the...
and that's another argument for arm injuries some people are throwing out. I'm not sure I buy that part, but... Swing and a miss, 1-1. The pitchers are saying they don't have enough time to rest and recover in between pitches, and thus they're injuring their arms. I read that one the other day.
Looks like Ferguson up the pin for the Knights.
And it's a good fastball down at the knees, 1-2. Yeah, Ferguson, the lefty, getting loose.
And he might start the next inning. I think we're going to get Reynolds through this inning unless things go really crazy.
There's a ground ball backhanded and
How about
deflects,
this?
throw to first, and a great
Oh.
stab by Penn. My goodness. 4-6-3, and a backhander by Jaworski, and it kind of flipped over second base, and the shortstop Brown picked it up, threw it in the dirt, and what a stab/pick, however you want to put it, by Caden Penn, and the Knights get a huge out.
That would be a Sports Center top 10 if we had it edited really well.
Pitch outside, a ball, and again, this infield is running hot right now.
Yeah.
Anything hit on the ground is scooting.
Might put some water on it between innings, or not innings,
between games.
Yeah.
Just missed down low, maybe a little outside, 2-0. See if, that Adrian Hope game went final, so 11-3, Adrian wins it.
Wow.
Pitch down low, a ball, so let's see if I can.
I got the standings.
Yeah,
right
the
here.
standings in the program there. That puts Adrian, I think, back into a tie. Well, actually, a half game behind. They're 11-4. Hope is 12-4.
I don't know if that. I think they're both 12-4 because I don't know if that your game was on there.
Oh, you're right. Pitch in there for a strike. Well, I could probably.
12-4, and Kalamazoo's probably 12-4, and Alma's probably got 5 losses now.
Another strike.
All right, back here at Calvin, we got to get out of this one, Jeff, and get to the bats going again.
Yep. Ooh, that one sails high, and ball 4. So the base runners continue here for the Brits in the top of the 6th inning.
Both teams have had big innings, and the rest have gone pretty quietly.
Yep.
Boy, the Knights would like to get out of this one. First and third situation. Would they run? I'm not so sure to run into the third out. And I don't. Well, and we might see Reynolds pitched yesterday, and it would be interesting if Kevin's just going to go out there and check how he's feeling, or he's going to make the switch right
Hasn't
now.
made the indication yet. But I see Ferguson already walking in, so he must have pointed on his way.
Yeah.
On his way out.
And this might be to control the running game, right?
Yep.
With the first and third situation. But every pitcher you throw out there, yeah.
I'm still looking at the see if the MIAA baseball standings are updated after that game. So one thing about the spring that I think is unique is that, for better or for worse, is that you might have something going basically every day of the week as far as events. It doesn't mean that it's not busy in the fall and the winter. It just, the winter tends to be a little bit more heavy midweek, typically a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and then you get a lot on a Friday, Saturday. You typically have nothing on a Monday or a Thursday, and the fall can kind of be like that as well. Typically not a lot on a Monday or a Thursday, but boy, the spring, you might have something going every day of the week. So trying to keep track. So they do have the updated standings. Adrian and Hope now both 12-4. Kalamazoo is 11-4, and Elma at 10-5. And they've got another game coming up. I think that's over at at Hope. So game number 2 to follow. Well, Ferguson comes out. Left-hander. He has seen a decent amount of time for Calvin this year.
Yeah, Ferguson in his 11th or now 12th appearance. He's 0-1. 12 innings. He's a one-inning guy. 11 strikeouts in those 12 innings. Strikeout in innings is a good thing, but I think he's also here to control the running game a bit.
Maisie is at the plate with runners at the corners. Pitch is up high. Well, that has contributed to the offense, I think, the tight strike zone.
Yeah,
Maisie does not have a big strike zone to begin with. That one's going to dart low.
And it's the top half of the strike zone, and
yeah,
both teams had to deal with it. There are no excuses here.
Maisie up in the box, 2-0 pitch in the dirt, 3-0. Do have a base open, but
yeah,
you don't want to load the bases and put the go-ahead run at the plate.
Yeah.
Ooh, inside almost hit him, and the bases are now juiced. And, this is also, Jim, you could probably speak to this, where it's just kind of dragging through, and you're trying to stay sharp as a defensive player out there, whether it's infield
tough.
or outfield,
Yeah. No, and I think they thought they were going to get Reynolds through this inning, and Ferguson probably is not warmed up as he wants to be, but
no.
he was going to pitch around. He wants lefty here.
Well, and here we have it. Laurel, the left-handed hitter against Ferguson.
I think
that's a strike.
I think he might have started the inning here.
I believe you are correct.
Third baseman, it's a nice day. Knight's playing almost on the grass, playing him to pull.
That's a strike at the knees.
Right.
Good pitch, 0-2. Let's see if we get the breaking ball here.
Yeah.
Maybe a little out of the zone.
He wanted that lefty. Maybe we're the ones that were more nervous. He wanted the lefty on lefty, just a batter too early that he had to come in, use those as warm-up pitches.
Breaking ball, and it goes outside.
You called it.
Laurel not biting.
It's one of those, he knew he was going to throw it. The batter knew he was going to throw it. We knew he was going to throw it, and he was able to hold off. Now you're going to attack him here. 1-2 pitch is a pitcher's pitch. There's a fastball or a breaking pitch.
Oh, boy, that's a tough pitch to take with 2 strikes. Boy. I was saying that on the softball broadcast the other day. I was never the type that wanted to go down on a called strike 3, so I'd swing if it was close, more out of pride than anything. But
yeah, backward K of shame, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Never wanted that.
Swinging a foul back to the screen, but it seems like players are more willing to let those 50-50 balls go nowadays. Probably coached up more to do that.
2-2, and this is a pitch. You don't want the runners, right, running on 2 outs. That's almost as sure as a single score is 2.
If you could pull the string somehow and get it through the strike zone, that would be ideal, I think. But easier said than done.
Trying to get him to roll over a bit.
He's going to step off Ferguson.
Yeah, I don't think they're square on what he wants to throw.
So Etnier out there.
And Carden's going to ask a question here.
He's got that fouled off baseball to bring in, but yeah.
Just reminded him of the strike zone in that little delivery.
Yeah, those little subtleties of baseball, right?
I like Scott. His wife Doreen does a wonderful job coaching women's basketball, some battles. My daughter's always loved competing against the Albion team. There's your breaking pitch, Jeff.
Yeah, just got a little high and did a good job to fight it off to Laurel.
I always think they've done it the right way down there in women's basketball.
Yeah. There's a breaking ball. It's going to drift foul.
Long run by Will.
Yeah, into the bullpen area out of play. A little duck hook on it.
Well, we were flying along through a few innings here, and we have hit the...
We hit the wall.
Yeah, we hit the traffic jam.
And there's a shot in the center field. Well hit. Winkle coming hard, and can't make the play. 1 run in, a 2nd run in. It's cut off at short, and it's a 1-run game. That thing just sunk right there at the end, and tough play. I think that's going to be ruled as a hit. Yep, it'd be a 2-run single.
Good at bat by Laurel. After dropping 0-2, took a really tough pitch and then fouled a couple, wasted a couple. And now, boy,
it's a new game.
It's a new game, 7-6. And
8 hits for the Brits, 6 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors, 7 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for Calvin, and there's still 2 runners aboard.
A lot of damage with 2 outs.
Yeah, pitch down low, a ball. This game nearly 2 hours old and a lot of baseball left to be played in this game one. The pitch. There's a shot. It's going to drift toward right field and go foul. By about 5-6 feet.
Into the bullpen. That
Yeah.
used to be up the hill.
One ball, one strike, 2 outs. The Britons have scored 5 times here in the 6th after they scored 1 in the 5th. Ferguson, our third pitcher for the Knights. The pitch, and it's a ground ball, hot shot to second. He has it on a 2-hopper and flips to Brown for the out, and the Knights get out of it. But not without heavy damage. 5 runs, I think it was 6 hits. Not sure if there's any errors, can't remember. I know 2 runners left on base. We head to the bottom of 6. Kelvin leads at 7-6. We'll be back just a moment. Back here at Kelvin, looks like a new pitcher on for the Britons. I think it's a new pitcher. Sean Cooper, left-handed hurler in relief of Renner. So he is pitcher number 3 for Albion. Both sides have gone into the pen. And a shout out to Olivet Sports Information Director Jeff Henson, indicating that yes, indeed, that game yesterday was the completion of that suspended Adrian Elma game. Just had confirmation, yes, that 16-13 game. That 16-13 game was the completion of the suspended game. So,
boy, Adrian's put on some miles, but I think they're out of school now.
They are, yeah. They long drive up to Elma, I think, for 45 minutes of baseball. But you get that.
Yeah, it helps when the AD is the baseball coach. You find that you find those extra funds somewhere. Maybe the track program will be missing some funds there. All right, here we go, Patrick.
Well, we need some runs. If you're Calvin and he takes one off the old jersey numerals there, 18, and he will go to first base. And, you know, if you're Albion, you don't want to put the leadoff batter aboard if you've just scored 5 times.
No.
New pitcher.
And for those wondering, no one's trying to hit. That was a breaking pitch.
Yeah. Very, very slow-moving one and just didn't break enough. So Sean Cooper is the relief pitcher. Mason at the plate takes a strike. Let's see, Mason is 2 for 3 on the afternoon.
Played a fine right field.
Yeah, he has. Thrower to first and back with a dive and a face full of dust is Pat Gillen.
Yeah, we're not in the bun a guy over yet. I think both teams are going to be being pretty aggressive. I don't think we've seen the last run scored here, Jeff.
There's a well-hit fly ball center field, but he's tracking it.
There's a difference. There's stayed up. The one in the last inning for Winkle went down.
Yeah, Schuster making the grab out there in center field, so 1 away. Caden Penn is at the plate. Well, old Penner, wind is kind of moving out toward right field to some degree.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy who could put a jolt into one. Lefty on lefty, though. Throw over to first base. Gillen back.
It's tougher to see out that window, Jeff, after a baseball in the 8th series came from their batting practice. And
thankfully, nobody was in here at the time. Shattered our side window, plexiglass, pitch up high, a ball. Yeah, you do put yourself a little bit in the line of fire when you're up here in a press box. Old Tiger Stadium used to be right behind home plate. in there for a strike, probably about, what, 15, 20
Yeah.
feet up? Throw to first base again. Gillen, not much of a lead. He's got good speed, so they might be suspecting a hit and run here with the left-handed hitter and first baseman holding the runner on. So, that does open up that hole. Here's the pitch. Ground ball in the hole. Second baseman will bobble it. Recovers in time and got him by a half step.
We needed that to bound away from him a little bit more.
Does put Gillen in scoring position. We'll score 4-3. Brings up the freshman Josh Winkle, 0 for 3 in the afternoon, due for a hit.
Yeah, it'd be one of those runs, right?
Yeah.
Pick up a late 2-out hit.
Well, Gillen will be running on contact.
Yeah.
Almost certainly. Here's a hard shot ball. Ooh, good play by the third baseman. Took a funny hop, and right at the last minute, Laurel went down, snagged it, and threw out Winkle at first base.
Looked
so
like a hockey goalie down there.
Yeah, he did, making the save in the old 5-hole there, and the Knights are retired without any damage done. So we're headed to the 7th inning. It's Calvin 7, Albion 6. We'll be back in just a moment. Due up for Albion, Emery, Farmer, and McGann. 5, 6, 7 if you're keeping track in the batting order. Line total 6 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors for Albion. 7 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for Calvin. Mentioned this on the softball broadcast the other day, but Forrest Peterson, Calvin men's swimmer, named a first-team academic All-American earlier this week by the College Sports Communicators Association. Second straight year he's received that honor, and on Monday night he was named the recipient of the Beret Memorial Award, the top senior male student-athlete award given out to a Calvin athlete. And then on the women's side, they give out the Kay Teamersma Memorial Award. Similar type of situation, top female senior student-athlete, and that was a co-award between Maggie Farrell and Jenna Allman. Jenna Allman actually last night had a really fast time in the steeplechase.
Her and
Sophie Bull both posted times in the top 6 in the nation, running side by side together out of Grand Valley. Had some strong D2 and D1 competition pulling them along.
Yeah, and good weather too, right?
Yep.
That all plays to get that qualifying time. All 3 student athletes have been wonderful. I've gotten to know all 3 of those. They all went to our leadership training out in Montana, and wonderful congratulations to their families and to those student athletes. And
well, they'll do great things in the future. Of course, Maggie is planning on coming back for next year as a graduate student. Still got that COVID year of eligibility. So talked to her the other day. She seems pretty excited about next year. And I think Jenna's going on to grad school.
Maggie works with us in the athletic department and the intern with our development, working on sponsorships. So she's done a wonderful job.
Another foul back to the screen. Yeah, and then Forrest is going on to pursue his PhD at the University of Wisconsin in biomedical engineering. And he's got a computer science minor as well. So he is a lot sharper than I am. A perfect 4.0 grade point average. Well, check swing a little high.
I'll turn from color commentator to AD. They are opportunities here at Calvin to do both.
Yep.
And that is to be an All-American swimmer and pursue academics at the highest level. And we think this is a pretty special place. And people like Jenna and Forrest and Maggie prove that those things can be done, excel on the field, in the pool, on the track, and yet have academics at the highest level.
Yeah.
And appreciate our faculty who make that happen as well.
Pitch by Ferguson, a bit high. Right-hander is in the Calvin bullpen.
Trying to grab the leadoff hitter here in the.
You'd love to do it. Yeah, that was up and out. He walked him. Knights have struggled to throw strikes here
Farmer.
over the last handful of innings. That's been kind of the bugaboo. Brings up Farmer to the plate.
And now you wonder, in a 1-run game, but I think it's too early yet, right? I still think there's going to be more runs scored, but I don't see this as a bunt. I don't think the Knights are thinking bunt either. Gillen playing back in double play depth up the middle here.
Throw over to first base, and Penn had to reach back to snag that one.
93.
You hear the call. They don't do signs as much anymore as they do numbers, and that's what you see on their wristbands and on the belt buckles of their offensive strategy. They're right back
Fouled
at
out
us.
of play, yeah. I think that's Kyle Koning warming up in the bullpen. Right-hander out of Kalamazoo Christian.
So people are like 108 was the call, and that could be a combination of it's the first number, could be the third number, could be the addition of the second and third, and you see a lot of college teams do that way instead of missing signs.
On the inside part of the plate for a strike, 1 and 2.
Of course, you have to be able to do math at that point. I don't know what's worse, knowing the signs or knowing math. But here we go. The ground ball would be nice for the Knights right here. See if Ferguson can induce a double play ball.
Well, there's a ground ball hit to Penn. Over to second for 1 in the dirt.
It's going to be the toughest kind.
Yeah, they got the first out, and then the relay a little wide, the pitcher trying to cover. I don't think he would have gotten him in time, and a good job by the catcher, Etnier, to back up. And
so you dissect that play. That's the hardest double play to turn, right? It's the first baseman to the shortstop to a first pitcher covering first. Now, Penn had a choice there. He could have just taken, he probably was going to get one out, but he took the choice and said, I'm going to get the lead runner. He could have just gone to first because it was high hop. Good play by Penn. And now that leaves a force out at second intact, and a double play gets you out of the inning. Right down the heart of the plate.
So McGann at the plate. Right-handed hitter. Fouls it back to the screen. Two strikes on the batter. And again, Knights would love to get that double play. They are in double play position up the middle. Outside a ball. Well, you played 1 year with Coach Van Dyne as a double play partner.
Yep, freshman year, Kevin was an All-American second baseman, and I was a young shortstop. We had a great time out there. Learned a lot from him.
Pitch up high, a ball 2-2.
I think he made one error that year. And what people don't know about Coach Van Dyne, well, you do, is he played right-handed and did everything else in his life left-handed. Probably would have been a shortstop, but his dominant hand was left-handed. His dad made him play right-handed so he could play infield, but he was a left-handed hitter, a left-handed shooter of the basketball.
Yep.
Had great range and really soft hands. One of our All-American baseball players.
Swing and a miss. There's the breaking ball, and he pulled the string.
Good pitch.
Been waiting for that one. 2 away.
I think that year I'd have to look it up. I think we were 5th in the nation defensively.
Sounds about right.
We had Jim Skipper move over from short to first on an arm injury, and he was good at first. And Steve Cody was the third baseman at the time, and we were about 500, but we could pick it.
Pitch up high ball. Well, you know, Coach Van Dyne's freshman year, they went to first Calvin team to make the NCAA tournament. And my understanding is they have a reunion coming up organized by Coach Pettinga at some point here, maybe later this summer.
Yeah.
I had to work on getting an old roster together of that team. And Coach Van Dyne remembered everyone who was on that team.
Yep. And how about...
I'd give a name, and he'd say, oh, he was from Canada. He's from California. He was second baseman.
And who did they face in the first game? Did he tell you that?
We did not go over that part. Was that Marietta again, wasn't it?
Mr. Terry Mulholland.
Yeah, okay. He might have mentioned that, actually. 2 balls, 1 strike. Breaking ball, and it's lifted shallow left field, drifting underneath at Mueller. He's got time and makes catch, fighting off the sun. Yeah, that's tough high sky there.
Good inning by Ben.
Yeah.
Good inning.
Strands the runner. And we'll head to the bottom of the 7th. Kelvin clinging to that 7-6 lead. We are underway in the first inning of game number 2 over at Hope. Adrian and Hope there, so we'll keep tabs on that one. Suffice it to say they're going to get that doubleheader in before we're done with ours. Let's see, golf, if we can come up with an update. Top golfer for Kelvin, Ethan Tiller, is at even par through 7. Go through the other Kelvin golfers here. Jackson Glanzer, 2 over through 15. Jack Marzolino, 3 over through 9. Matt Turcott, 4 over through 7. Tim Braun, 5 over through 10. Eli Timmerman, 6 over through 8. Let's see.
You see a drop the low, about 10 over, 11 over?
Yeah, 15 over par right now. Hope is 1 under right now. Adrian, 6 over, Trine, 11 over, Kelvin, 15 over, Kalamazoo, 20 over, Albion at 24 over, Alma 25, and Olivet 58.
It's been so long since the fall, I'd have to check. Could Adrian make some hay here? All right, Knights, let's get some runs.
Swing and a miss by Hubka. Got Cooper still on the hill. Lefty against righty. Bottom of the 7th inning.
Coach Van Dam would let Hubka take that one and say, that hasn't been a strike all day, but it's so enticing up there by their eyes. Oh,
boy, that one looked awfully good.
Yeah, he caught a break the other way there, so we're all evened up.
Down low. Final day of classes today at Kelvin for the spring semester. Exams start tomorrow. You know, a number of folks have 1:30 exams, some 1:30 and 6:30 tomorrow.
It's always one of those things. I'm not being critical of Kelvin, but I always wondered, man, is there anything worse than a 4:30 in the afternoon Saturday exam? Wow. But you get out of there a day sooner.
You do. Foul tip off the glove. 2-2 is our count. Still got Koning in the pen for the Knights. Right-hander would be available if they want to go to him. It looks like Coach Van Hecken is down there giving them a look. Oh, pulled the string well out in front. And one away. Brings up Etnier, the catcher, who is 0 for 2, has walked once. Cooper has done a pretty good job changing speeds and locations. Not necessarily an overpowering pitcher, but one of those crafty guys out of the pen. Fouled out of play. Another one in there, a bender, a strike, 0-2. Well, they are in the 9th. I'll tell you in a bit here. Pitch just missed a ball, and the Kansas City Royals are leading the Detroit Tigers 1-0.
Oh, boy, Tigers struggling to score runs.
Yeah. Swing and a foul tip into the catcher's glove, 2 away. So Cooper with back-to-back strikeouts here to start the 7th. Will Mueller, the left-hander, steps to the dish. He had just 4 hits apiece in that Royals-Tigers game. Of course, you talk to our head football coach and offensive coordinator, they'll say, go Royals. They're big Kansas City fans. Here's a shot in the left center field.
You might get 2 here.
Rounding first and heading to second. Mueller on his horse, throw in, and he's got himself a stand-up double.
All right, there we go. A little 2-out rally for the Knights.
10th hit of the game for Kelvin. We got Jaworski at the plate. Now, there's proposals, speaking of Kansas City, to build new ballparks for, well, new stadiums for baseball and football. And I think that's still a discussion issue. I don't think anything. Yeah, got voted down, and they're like, let's try something different. Those two stadiums, was it Kauffman Stadium for baseball and Arrowhead for football, are kind of right next to each other. They're going to appeal to first to say he never touched the bag. Umpire says no, he did.
You know, we always told our first baseman to watch, and you watch, make sure they take. It's tough in a 3-man crew or a 2-man crew to cover all that.
Breaking ball high. Boy, Knights would love to get a 2-out single and an extra run in here right now. Jaworski did have a 2-out RBI single earlier. Lined it over the second baseman's head. Pitch outside, 2-0. In fact, he is 2 for 3 on the afternoon with the 1 run batted in. The pitch. That's down in the dirt, blocked by the catcher, no advance.
Yeah, and you say, well, should he get to third? Well, at this point, right, with 2 outs, you can probably score from second. You don't want to risk making the 3rd out at third, so good base running by Will Mueller there. I think Coney's coming in. He's really heated up out there.
Throwing a lot of pitches out there. You don't throw that many just to keep throwing. That one's down low. He walked him.
Brings the top of the order up.
They probably decided to pitch semi-close because he was 2 for 3, but like you said, it brings the top of the order and Ryan Brown. So,
but he's lefty-hander, lefty on lefty, so feels more comfortable. I don't think that bothers Brown or Gillen much. You are allowed a couple conferences, and Coach Van Dyne called for an offensive conference here.
You got Coach Court coming over from first base as well. They're going to talk it up along with the base runners. Is it 1 per inning?
I think it's per game. I think it's 1 per inning, and it's so many per game.
Okay. Seems like you get more in softball.
Yeah. And I don't think they'll have anything going here. I think it's just a reminder of what. Don't get picked off behind, right? Because the left-handed pitcher with the left, don't get picked off.
Yeah. Well, pretty good space. Pitch down low, ball.
Right.
Shortstop's really shaded up the middle, but if you can, big hole in that between third and short, and then the second baseman is shaded well over toward first.
Yeah. So if you're not watching at home or you can't see the video, the first baseman is playing behind the runner with 2 outs and a left-handed batter. That's not a usual situation, particularly with the left-handed. It was just a reminder by Coach Van Dyne, hey, let's not get picked off behind this with Brown and Gillen coming up. The catcher just went out there because I think that's the first time they had a runner on. I don't know if they got mixed up on signs or whatever because it looked like he got crossed up there. So, but 1 ball. Come on, Brian Brown. Get yourself a hit.
The pitch inside, 2-0. Well, wouldn't mind loading the bases for Patrick Gillen.
No, and they got a right-hander down in the bullpen, and I think they're gonna. This guy's got both the lefties, and they have a. I think
that one's high, 3-0.
You have an automatic take here. You might have the automatic take for 2 pitches here with Gillen on deck. That's sacrificing an at-bat for your team if Brown.
That's a strike.
All right. Now do you turn him loose, Jeff, and 3-1, or do you say, hey.
I think I'm holding right now.
You're going to see if he can, with Gillen coming up.
Yep.
Then you'll be 3.
I'm not going to run myself out of the inning on 3-1 here. That's in there for a strike.
Now they'll be going.
Yep.
And I think Brown was taken all the way till 2 strikes. That's confidence in the in his back control. 3 balls in a row. Here we go. Runners moving.
And it's high. Ball 4. Bases are loaded.
And the pitcher's upset, but that's been high. Yeah, that's been
high. That was high. There's no doubt about that one. That wasn't even close.
Yeah, that's been high all day.
And probably just a little frustration of a couple of at-bats there.
And you're going to see a.
Well, here comes Coach Carden.
You think you're going to bring a right-hander in to face him?
I don't know.
It'll be interesting.
You wouldn't think so. I think he's probably going out there to settle him down. You know, he just had a little bit of frustration with the umpire, so he doesn't want that to bleed over into the next at-bat. That'd be my take.
And he's probably giving the pitcher out there a little bit more time to warm up because he's probably going to face Mason.
Yep.
So this might be his last batter either way.
Yep.
Who am I to give Patrick Gillen advice on how to hit? But, you know, you want to be patient. But you know what? I've said that before, and he's ripped the first ball into the left center field gap. So he's one of those special ones, the Matt Scaples and the Patrick Gillens. You just kind of say, I trust you up there, and don't overthink it. But they're playing him up the middle.
The pitch and a shot, and off the second baseman, knocks it down, and a huge out for the Brits. Kelvin's top hitter, bases loaded, first pitch, jumped on it, and they knocked it down and got the big out.
Boy, they had him played perfectly, and he just ripped it.
So we'll head to the 8th inning, still 7-6. Kyle Coney is in for Kelvin here on top of the 8th inning. 1 run game, 7-6. Kelvin had led 7-1.
Number 28, Kyle Coney.
So Koning is in, and he'll face Draper, number 9 hitter in the Albion order.
Koning, 3.65 ERA, 12 innings, pitched 14 hits, 10 strikeouts, 6 base on balls. Teams hit an average of 286 against him. All his appearances, I believe, and that is correct, have been in relief. And come on, Kyle, get the first batter out, and we are down to 6 outs.
Big wind and delivery. It's in there for a strike. He has got a big leg kick and a big windup.
Old school. I would
give
you.
Got a little bit of that mustache, some pretty good lettuce out there. He's got a little Araboski right-handed look.
Yes,
check swing.
What does that mean for the hitter? It hides the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
You don't see it. Not as much as the late great Louis Tiant of the 78 Boston
Well, and that
Red
was a
Sox.
guy who could change arm angles all over the place.
Yeah.
Never knew where the ball was coming from. Here's the pitch, and it's popped out of play.
Hrabowski wasn't he the Mad Hungarian?
The Mad Hungarian.
See Jim Skipper down the line here, talking to a former Winkle down right field line.
Yeah.
Good friends with head coach Kevin Van Dyne. Here's a two-sporter. I think he was
swinging a foul.
MVP in basketball and a first-teamer in baseball. And Skipper and Van Dyne were kind of like Whitaker and Trammell.
They were. Well, roommates, too. College roommates.
Middleville Trojan and a Jenison Wildcat.
There's a shot in the left center field. That's going to fall for a base hit. So the Brits, with the leadoff batter aboard.
All right, we've asked the question before, right? No matter what we have, now you're down to the late innings, as they would call them.
And it's 1, 2, 3 in the lineup. Schuster here.
Yeah, they might bunt. Now, let's see, the Knights are.
Schuster probably has good speed.
Yeah, but Gillen even at third.
Koning in the stretch. Fastball outside.
No sign of a bunt there.
No, none whatsoever. Can hear him calling the play out of the Albion dugout.
Yeah.
It was 1-7-6 right there, so we'll find out what that means. Be a little surprised to see the runner going. And there's the bunt, pops it up, and it is going to go foul. Boy, if that had stopped like the old sand wedge right in the dirt on the right side of the chalk, that probably would have been a base hit.
Speaking of sand wedge, Calvin golf outing is officially full. 208
Outstanding.
golfers.
May 22, right?
May 20.
May 20, okay.
Egypt Valley Country Club will be coming to you with some YouTube interviews. What a great support from our friends and families and donors of Calvin Athletic. Can't wait. Hope it's a nice day.
It was last year.
Yeah, beautiful.
Down low a ball, 2-1, and it allows those donors a chance to hobnob with the Calvin coaches and some of the athletes. And we certainly appreciate the support, that's for sure.
Yeah, kind of marks the end of our athletic year. And then we reset. And
throw over to first base. Really have been blessed to have that outing at some great golf courses over the years.
Bly Field and Kent Country Club.
Yeah, that was outstanding. And now, Egypt Valley, about as good as it gets here in West Michigan. I mean, all three of those places are outstanding.
Yeah, it's really nice if you can choose what flight you played on, and this year you'll play the course you didn't play last year. So people who play every year, they'll play a different course again, even at the same venue. So that's a unique aspect. But back to baseball. See if the Knights can
need a double play here.
Yeah, we do.
2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Here's the pitch. And a long fly ball, well hit, and not even going to chase it. It is out of here. That was about 50 feet over the left field wall, a high fastball, and that thing was tattooed by Schuster, the leadoff man in the order, and just like that, the Britons have taken an 8-7 lead.
Welcome to MIAA baseball. No worries for the Knights. Start over.
A walk and a blast to left field just like that. And, you look back to the last half inning, Knights had the bases loaded, their best hitter, and he smoked one, but right at a fielder. And that's just the way the game of baseball goes sometimes. Quickly 0-2 on the batter, Maisie.
Knights got to keep their heads up.
Yeah, just still a one-run game, and still at-bats for the Knights. You don't want this one to get out of hand. That's the only thing. Swing and a miss on the hard one. Maisie retired, one away.
Number 2, Mark Laurel.
Laurel at the dish.
Full activity in the Calvin bullpen.
Well, down in Detroit, it's gotten ugly. Kansas City 7, Tigers nothing. Still batting in the top of the ninth.
It's unusual for the Tigers bullpen.
There's a shot in the center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Yeah, bullpen is last couple games suddenly has shown some frailties for the Detroit Tigers. It's tough when you have to rely on that bullpen to be consistent. Exactly.
All right. We want to keep it close right here. Want to keep a one-run game going here.
11 hits now for Albion. 8 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors for the Brits. Pitch outside by Koning. And for Calvin, 7 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. 6 of Kelvin's 7 runs came back in the third, and the bats have gone semi-quiet since then, although they did have the bases loaded back in the bottom of the 7th with 2 outs and just could not play to run across. The pitch, swinging a foul off the catcher's glove. Fourth pitcher of the afternoon is Kyle Koning for Kelvin. Brits have gone through 3. Adrian leading 1-0 in the third of Game 2 against Hope. They took the opener 11-3. The pitch. Ball outside. 2-1. I think Doyle is in the pen right now.
Might pitch the 9th in either situation.
Fouled out of play. 2-2. Fouled out of play.
You know, we were thinking about trying to get a new backstop here. One of the quests that we have on our wish list that will hopefully knock some of those balls down, keep them out of the woods.
Yeah. Those baseballs are expensive.
Yeah.
Two and two is the pitch, and it's a ground ball to third, and it's going to take a hot hop and over the glove of Gillen. That'll be another base hit, and 2 runners aboard. Hit number 12 for the Brits.
Knight's got to get out of this inning, grab 2 runs, get Doyle in the 9th, get out of here with a second win in a row and a series win.
Pitch is in there for a strike. Batter is Emery. Farmer on deck. 1 out, 8-7. Albion in the lead. Top of 8. Koning pitch up high, and that's going to get away from the catcher. That'll be a wild pitch, and both runners advance. Logan Nelson in at catcher, too. I just noticed that. I think that position switch took place maybe last half inning.
Infield pulled in.
Yeah, really need to. Pitch fouled out of play, so 1-2. Everybody in at the skin of the grass. A lot of sharply hit balls by Albion as this game has gone along.
Yep. Not so much to the first 4 and a
Nope.
half.
Big wind and pitch. Swinging a foul back to the screen.
As a manager, you're hoping you get a pop-up. You're hoping you get a atom ball in the infield. Not much range with the infield pulled in.
No.
This one, you want your pitcher to go get that strikeout. You know, a lot of times you're trying to pitch to contact, but here you want to see if you can get this one out. Get that defense back in their regular spots. There he is.
Breaking ball, and he froze him for strike 3.
Yes,
oh,
good.
he had the big windup and gave him the hook.
And that's what I was just talking about there, Jeff. The pitcher can take one himself. And
2 away.
this is a big at bat here for both teams, right? You get out of this inning, get a little momentum, and the Knights are going to have Mason and Penn and Winkle and
Yep.
middle of that order.
Logan Farmer, the DH in this game. He's 1 for 3 out of Coldwater, Michigan. Right-handed stick, 2 runners aboard. Knights really need to get this out here. Swinging a foul tip back into the catcher's glove.
Yeah, it looked like he was sitting a little bit off speed and snuck it by him. Now we got him guessing.
You can feel that temp dipping a little bit here, too, over the last hour or so.
Yep. Nelson's got to block everything here,
Yep,
right?
got to be a wall, as they say. And a check swing, and that was off the handle of the bat. Strike 2.
All right, got to go attack him.
See if he comes back with that breaking ball again.
Yep. Yeah, we'd like to have that out of the zone, if so.
Yeah. Well, he stands on top of the plate.
Yeah.
Farmer. Coning the set. Here it comes. Up high.
Yeah.
Went with the high fastball, and Farmer not biting. 1-2.
Try to get him to chase the high cheddar. See if we can. Defense, I think, on the right side ought to be ready. Feel like he's gonna try to battle off a breaking pitch.
There's the breaking ball. Oh my!
Oh man! Up here in the
just missed.
We wanted that one bad.
2-2. Farmer was not biting.
Knight's dugout wanted that one as well. He evens it out. He's got a base to work with. We like to get it right here.
Fastball, and he swings and misses. Farmer out on strikes.
Nice job by Coning to strike out 2 there with runners on second and third. And
the Brits get 2. They had 3 hits, no errors, 2 runners stranded. Got a big bottom of the 8th coming up for Kelvin. Albion leads it 8-7. Yeah, just looking at the video stream here, when you get that look from behind the fencing, your camera mounted on the press box, you really get a good look at the soccer stadium going up beyond the right field wall there. Really be an impressive looking structure when it's all said and done. Speaking of soccer, big London derby coming up this weekend. Arsenal at Tottenham. One of the fiercest soccer rivalries out there, or football as they like to say.
They don't like each other too much.
No.
Well, some exciting things, Jeff, that people might not know about Calvin Athletics. May 7, our men's basketball team and women's volleyball team are taking a tour to Italy.
It's going to be a fantastic trip.
Absolutely. A 10 or 12-day trip. NCAA allows once every 3 years. Again, thank you to our donors and supporters of those programs, giving those kids a once-in-a-lifetime. Coach Warner's, Coach Saul, taking their teams there. They'll be able to play a few, but also...
Well, they're going to the northern part of Italy. They're going south. I mean, it's not just one chunk. I mean, they're going to Milan. They're going to Rome. They're going to Florence. They are going to see some sights. High pop-up on the first pitch.
That's going to be a tougher play than you think.
Left fielder coming in and makes the grab, one away. Thought maybe the Knights might take a pitch or two. Yeah, they'll get to see some sights there. Being a historian, I'm pretty jealous. I've seen some of these Italy trips where you could take a tour of the ruins of Pompeii, or the ruins, the preserved ruins, so to speak. Yeah. It's right off the ocean there, and of course the city of Rome, and all sorts of stuff in Italy. That's for sure. Strike to Caden Penn. So yeah, and the thing is, for these student athletes, especially if you're a 2-semester athlete like basketball, very tough to go abroad for a semester. I mean, unless you want to take a whole sports season off, so you don't get a chance to travel. But this is that opportunity to do so. Last year, men's soccer did the same type of trip in, month of May for about 10, 12 days throughout London, and that was a fantastic trip for them. Swinging a foul. So really excited for those student athletes from both sides getting a chance to do all of that. So,
boy, after Cooper, I think, is a pitcher, after loading the bases, he's gone through Gillen and Mason and Penn.
Pitch to Penn. It's in the dirt.
He held back.
Fly ball well hit.
Get
Center
over his
fielder
head.
on his horse, still on his horse, tracking it though, and makes the catch on the run.
Boy, he hit it well. Maybe it's hit as far as that home run went.
Yeah.
But
To the wrong part of the ballpark. 2 away. Brings up Winkle to the plate. I'll be right back.
Take it from here. 2 outs. Bottom of 8. There's a off-speed pitch just missed to the left, and 1-0 for Winkle, and 2-out rally here for the Knights.
There's a shot. That's going to fall.
Yeah. And that's his second hit of the day.
11th hit of the game overall for Calvin. 2 away, and got Hupka at the plate.
Can the Knights pick up one of those air-quoted cheap runs here? Little pass ball, little stolen base. I'm not sure Winkle's speed, but left-handed batter can control the running game.
Throw over to first base, and no indication of any type of steal there by the base runner. Another throw over to first base and back in time. For Mr. Winkle. He does have good wheels. So with 2 outs, the Knights might be willing to gamble, but we'll see. Pitch outside a ball. I think if we get to 2 strikes, you'd probably have a better chance at a steal attempt. Pitch up high, 2-0. 2 away, bottom of the 8th. Albion leads at 8-7. Kelvin had led 7-1 at one point. Here's the pitch. Down low, throw down to first. Winkle back in time, 3-0. Logan Nelson
On deck.
is on deck.
Get that runner down to second with 2 outs. Get one crack to tie it up. Other thing that Winkle's got to be thinking
Throw
is...
to first again, and he threw it away. And Winkle will head for second, and he'll head for third. On his horse, and he'll make it standing up on the error.
You know, that's always interesting. Calvin, like the old Oakland Alameda Stadium, has a lot of foul territory, and when that ball gets past you in a non-backup situation, first to third is very doable. But 3-0.
Up and away, ball 4, runners at the corners. Well, and this is where a pitch in the dirt brings a runner home from third base, potentially, you know. So Logan Nelson at the plate. Been a part-time starter at catcher this year.
Yeah.
Right-handed hitter.
And what a play back, but I've seen Kevin go safety squeeze, usually with 1 out. There's that ball
Pitch in the dirt, yeah. Good block by McCann, the catcher.
Well, that's 5 straight balls in a throwaway.
Yep. Got to think you're taking another one here if you're the batter. Unless it's dead red fastball right down the middle.
Right.
Ooh, almost hit him.
Yeah.
2-0. Got Mueller on deck.
Who's had a nice day at the plate.
He has.
And that maybe going to that lefty-lefty, but I don't know if you want to load up and put the winning run on second if you're the Britons.
The pitch.
They're
missed outside. 3-0. I thought it was a strike. So did the Albion dugout. So did the pitcher.
Yeah.
He gives a little nonchalant catch of the ball there.
Here's the 8th straight.
The pitch. That's a strike right down the chute. 3-1.
Now Logan's got to be ready. Turn on that ball, hit it right back up the middle. Tie this thing up and bring Mueller up.
Throw to first and back in time. It's Hupka. Three and one, 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th. Here's the pitch. He missed it on the inside part. Ball 4. Wow.
And there's some frustration on the
Yeah.
and-
Well,
and
it's a pretty tight zone with Mueller coming to the plate, and you got to think you're taking on the first pitch here.
And this is our pitching coach coming
Matt
out.
Ricks, yeah. And they're going to go to the pen.
Wow, that was quick.
Well,
usually the manager comes out.
yeah.
I thought they had lefty on lefty, but he's walked the last 3 batters after getting the first 2 out. And the Knights, for the second inning in a row, have a 2-out rally. Cooper, he'd be in line for the win, I think, right?
He would be, and Koning is the pitcher of record right now too. So
It'll be a late night here as this game is dragged. If it does go extra innings, the second game becomes a 7 inning. We'll take extra innings if that's all we can have, but we like to win this in 9. Matt Ricks, longtime MIAA.
yeah, former head coach at Kalamazoo.
Yeah, assistant at Kalamazoo. Seems like there's baseball lifers, you know. Craig Rainey's, the Stu Fritz's, the Jeff Pettingas.
Well, Frank Jurenko was the longtime Albion head coach.
Yeah.
Of course, I think the field is named after him now. I think he was still coaching my first couple of years as SID in the league. Had Kyle Klein, the league MVP in football, who was also an excellent baseball player for him. Left-handed hitter, left-handed thrower of the football, kind of a dual threat quarterback. He had, that was one of the more interesting situations in being kind of outside the room, not having football at the time. Kyle was a second team All-MIAA selection at quarterback and the league MVP. So not to ruffle any feathers at Albion, because that was a long time ago, but
we've had those situations.
That was an interesting one, to say the least. But part of it was because you could only have one quarterback on the first team. That was the bylaws back then. I think they probably have liberalized the rules on that, so to speak. And there was something like that in baseball where you could only have one first baseman. You know, now you get a few at-large spots on the first team. So
that's always tough when the worst is when you have the league MVP from one school and the National Player of the Year from the other.
Yeah, well, Kyle Klein was the quarterback on their '94 national championship team too. He was really good.
So here's Mueller.
It's in the dirt and a good block. Bases loaded. Big situation here for Luke Robertson out of Traverse City, right-handed pitcher, and you got to think Mueller's going to take at least another one.
He is right on top of the plate as well.
Yep. The pitch. That's a strike.
Yeah.
1-1.
When you're playing Sandlight baseball, you love this stuff, right? Bases loaded, chance to tie it, chance to get out. Good stuff.
Breaking ball, that's in there for a strike. Good breaking ball pitch.
Yep.
Caught the outside part of the plate. Mueller decided to let it go. 1-2.
Now you're in your emergency stance, right?
Yeah.
1-2. You are going to battle.
Savvy Senior at the plate. Another breaking ball and in the dirt, 2-2. Had a feeling we might get the breaking ball again.
Yeah, it's a sharp breaker, and I know the catcher when they brought him.
Comes right over the top.
Yeah, the catcher when they brought him in is like, man, I got my work cut out for me. I'm sure he's caught him a million times in bullpens.
In a swinging strike 3, if it gets away from the catcher, everybody's going to move. They got to make a play in a situation like that. Swing and a miss. Oh, he took a little off, and Robertson said, give me some applause to his dugout, and he is greeted by the Brits. As the Knights strand 3 runners for the second straight inning. We head to the 9th. Albion leads it 8-7.
It's gone final in Detroit, 8-0.
Yeah. Live to fight another day.
interesting how many Michigan Wolverines get drafted over the next 2 days. I mean, they're talking about this record 18. I think you're going to see Blake Corum end up with the Chargers. This would be my guess. Jim Harbaugh owes Blake a lot.
Yeah, he'd be a good combo back, I think, for any NFL team.
Such a good short yardage runner. Levi Suter in for the Knights. Martinsville, Indiana, taking over for Koning. You might see Doyle if the Knights get a lead here. The Knights are going to try to win this one on a walk-off, which is always really fun, but they're going to have to get their 3 outs first. Levi has 16 appearances, which actually leads the Knights. 16 appearances, 14 and a half innings, 14.2 innings, and 10 strikeouts, 3 base on balls. Key for Levi, like most relievers, if he gets ahead, he's pretty tough to hit. Falling behind, it becomes a little more interesting. There's no clock in baseball, and that's why no lead is safe. You got to get all 27 outs.
All right, we're in the 9th inning, and this game is 2 hours and 52 minutes old.
A lot of pitchers used.
Check swing, and it's out toward shortstop. Charging is going to be a tough play by Brown. In the dirt, and a scoop by Penn. Nice play.
Yeah.
One away.
Brown had a little more time than he thought, but results 6-3 in the scorebook. Nice play by Penn. That doesn't get ever recorded. I always wanted to give first baseman's credit for that. I don't know how you do, but nice scoop by Caden. Lights grabbed the leadoff runner in the 9th.
Pitch just outside a ball. Leshevsky is the batter.
He had a big gap shot.
He did. A Clarkston, Michigan. Swing and a miss. 1-1.
John Mantell, Clarkston, our basketball player, John.
That's a good question.
He was over there.
Yeah, I don't think it was Clarkston. Pitch outside. I could look that one up a minute.
John's still around town.
Yeah, see him every now and then.
He's a good player. He's in that transition between Nolecrest and...
Yeah, played some in the arena, some in the old swing, and a miss there. Kind of a half-hearted swing. Just kind of looking up old John Mantell. It was the Detroit area, but I don't think it was Clarkston. Ground ball toward first. Penn will knock it down. I'll have to go to the pitcher. He does, and in time for the out. 2 away.
Good job by Levi.
Yeah, John was from Chelsea. So Ann Arbor, yeah.
I was a C. John was a good player. Once in a while, he'd get a little 3-point happy for me, but he knows that.
Yeah.
2 outs on the scoreboard. So far, good inning by Levi, jumping out ahead.
First pitch, a ball down low. Up high, 2-0.
One and one, Josh.
Oh, 1-1, sorry. Yeah. Now 2-1.
Yeah.
Kind of jumped the gun there, but 2 away here, top of 9. 8-7 Albion. A strike at the letters. We haven't seen that today.
In both coaches kind of giggle as much as they can in a.
Garrett Draper at the dish. 8 runs, 12 hits, 3 errors for Albion. 7 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error for the Britons. The pitch, swinging a foul. I think this is pitcher number, is it 5 or 6 for Calvin in this one? I could look that up here in the...
5. Koning, Suter, Reynolds, Ferguson, and Steinbacher.
You are correct. Just looked up the box score here. Shouldn't have doubted.
That was not in the correct order, but
I knew Steinbacher, Reynolds, Ferguson, Koning, Suter.
Yeah.
The pitch. It's going to run a little high, 3-2.
Yeah, run it full. I'd like to get this one right here, get in the dugout, get 2 runs, and get on to that second game.
And that one's going to run high.
Yeah. You know, the dry, it's kind of dry and windy, and
yeah,
pitchers are trying to get a grip.
Schuster at the plate. Looks like is that members of the Calvin soccer team doing a little workout down behind the fence.
Coach Sauter's just in stadium here. I think they're done with their practices, but always
this guy's working out on their own there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had their season-ending. It was kind of a alumni game scrimmage last Saturday, and the weekend before they had a scrimmage with a few other D3 teams on the road. So yeah, just finished up non-traditional practices. Ground ball, foul.
No more anxious group than them as they see that stadium go up.
Yeah, that's right.
To the right.
Well, I think the plan is to try to get the locker stuff probably finished first. You know, you might not have the occupancy of the stands until a little bit later.
Yep. Oh, man, all the permitting that goes with that.
Yeah.
We got to keep everyone safe. And I look at those guys up in the crane. I hope they're safe.
Yeah. Well, especially on these windy days.
Yeah.
Not for the meek or mild, that kind of job. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the 9th. The pitch. He checked his swing and just a bit high. 2-2. 1 runner aboard. Scoring, it was 6 runs for Calvin there in the 3rd. They got 1 in the 5th. Albion also got 1 in the 5th and 5 in the 6th. 2 more in the 8th. Ground ball toward third. Gillen on 1 hop. Long throw to first. A long one, and Penn went up high. Stepped on the base, and they're going to call it out. The ball did pop out of his glove, but they said it was after the play had been made. I think that was indeed the correct call. So
no one's arguing it. We probably would have argued that in the backyard baseball for a while, but here it was the out. Let's go Knights.
So bottom of the 9th inning. This game has gone 3 hours and another one to go. Welcome to MIAA Baseball. We've got Robertson on the hill. He's thrown 5 pitches so far. The 4th pitcher of the game for Albion. Let's see. Clippert started, then Renner, then Cooper, now Robertson for Albion. So I think Robertson is bidding for the save, and Cooper would be in line for the win.
44, Aiden Jarowski.
So Jaworski at the plate. He is 1 for 3 on the afternoon.
Knight's going to go 8-9 or 9-1-2.
2 for 3. I read that line total the wrong way. He's also walked once. Pitch in the dirt. So Jaworski has been on base 3 times today.
It's a good series with Albion. He had a big hit yesterday, as we said earlier in the broadcast.
Former Zealand East Chick.
Not a duck.
No, not a duck. The pitch. Fastball in there for a strike.
It's a hard fastball and a tight breaking pitch. The Knights are going to try to battle here in the ninth and see if they can get Gillen to the plate with something meaningful to go.
Little chopper out in front of the mound. He's going to run hard to first. Long throw, and a good play. Got him by 2 steps. Good play by the pitcher.
Yep, good athleticism. Jumped off the mound.
Yeah, he did. Off quickly and picked it up cleanly and gunned it to first.
It's always the thing. Do you pick it up barehanded or do you use your glove? The general rule, if the ball is stopped, you use your bare hand. If the ball is rolling, you use your glove. That time, ball was kind of plugged, and he picked it and
gunned it.
Gunned it.
Perfect strike, too.
It's going to have to go through a series of, oh, boy, we didn't think that was a strike all day, but called that one.
Yeah, Brown walked his last time up. He is 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Pitch outside a ball. He has walked twice. He has struck out once.
He had a big at-bat in that 6-run inning, drawing a walk, and kind of led the floodgates open up.
That's going to be a little high, breaking ball.
But that wind is coming in, Jeff, from right field now.
Yeah, even the softball game the other day, it switched multiple times. Up and in, 3-1. So not surprising.
The Knights would like to get.
We are getting wind shifts.
Yeah, I was just thinking if you could Gillen up with the wind blowing out would be nice, but got to get Brown on base here.
Swing and a miss. Ooh, he went for the hard one and didn't get it.
Big cut.
We'll see if he gets fastball or if he goes to that hard breaking ball again. I'm going to guess breaking ball.
Yep. See if we can get him chasing.
Up high. He walked him.
Well, you got Gillen and Mason and Penn to try to tie this thing up here in the ninth.
Gillen, who was 2 for 4 today. His parents are in town. Talked to him before the game.
First pitch swinging last time with the bases loaded.
A pitch. Little outside. A ball.
Boy, they're playing a little shallow in left field. I think he could hit that gap. Brown could score.
In there for a strike.
It's a good pitch.
1-1.
See how much they're going to give him. They're going to give him.
Throw to first. Back in time.
They're not going to run Brown here. Down a run, plus you'd open a base up with Gillen up. They could pitch around him.
There's a shot. Oh, right at the center field or second base, over to first. Out, and the game is over. Wow. Gillen smoked that ball about as hard as you can hit it, and the shortstop was shaded behind second. Grabbed it out of the air. I mean, that thing was headed like a dart for center field, and they got the runner off base, Brown, by a half step, and just like that, the game is over. Wow. So the final score, Albion 8, Kelvin 7, 8 runs, 12 hits, 3 errors for the Britons, 7 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error for Kelvin. We'll take a little break, and we'll be back with the start of Game 2 in about 25 to 30 minutes.